Okay, so good morning, everybody.
Good
Um,
morning.
yes, so I think for me, the current phase that I am in, the ending of me staying at home for so long is the beginning of me starting school with like different people that I've never met before, and of course, it is a good thing. So yeah, that is it. For you.
All right, that's a good one. Ending of staying at home. Now you are in the high institution, so it's a new face, it's a new environment, new people, new connections to be made. That's good. I think I'll just take maybe two more persons. Faith is with us. Faith, can you speak where you are just for a few seconds because you might even be at work? But I'm happy that you're joining us.
I'm not at work. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. So, Faith, what we're discussing just before we start the talks is that the ending of something can lead to the beginning of a new thing. For example, today is the 1st of February. Today is the 1st of February, but today is also Saturday. So, today is the ending of a week, but is the beginning of a new month. And at times in life, we have situations whereby the ending of a phase and the beginning of a new phase happen simultaneously at the same time. So, has there been any time in your life where something was ending and at the same time something new was starting?
This is um well, something was ending, something was starting. I won't really say this was ending. I'll just say it was like maybe like did I say it like leaf, or when like the popper of a butterfly is metamorphosing to being a full-blown butterfly. So I would say I guess it's when God started unfolding. What year was that? That was in 2020. So that was when I started I became a pastor. Maybe I was doing ministry before, but I maybe doing some small roles before. So it was not the ending of my singing, or I say music career, but it was like a step to a higher calling, I would say. So I didn't stop singing, but it was a step to a higher calling, I would say. That was that year. So it was not a an ending, because after that I actually stopped singing for a while to step up to a higher calling. And it was that year that, no, it was not 2020, it was 2021, sorry. It was that year I actually became a pastor. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that. So, sometimes when a phase is metamorphosing into a new phase, there are some things that in your current phase you might have to let go for a while so that you can totally embrace the new phase that is coming in. And I believe as we are speaking, sharing our experiences, we're learning a lot. We are gaining some lessons, life lessons from there. So thank you to all those who have contributed so far. Now we're going to have our first talk. Today is much more of knowledge impartation. And I want to encourage every one of us. I want to encourage every one of us to make sure that we are totally immersed in this session. The reason being that our speaker is someone who over the years has helped lives and businesses grow. Not just people now, he has helped lives and businesses grow. Sometimes I see him and I ask, how come so much wisdom, so much ability is put in such a quote unquote fragile person? When you see him, yeah, physically, I usually say, oh, he looks fragile, but his intelligence, his wisdom, his foresight makes up for whatever fragility he has in our parents. So he's a management consultant, highly invested in developmental products and services to small and medium scale enterprises and tech startups. This includes strategy formulation and implementation, staff training, management training, project development, and documentation. He trains micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, owners, on basic management concepts and the use of digital tools to help their businesses grow. He's a co-founder at TechPlan Africa, a local consulting company that has helped businesses within Africa raise a cumulative portfolio of $10 million. He has written more than 200 business plans and 100 other business documents, which include business proposals, RFPs, sponsorships, contracts, requests, etc. Also, pitch decks, standard operating procedures, contract and employment letters, business model canvas, and others. He has also written financial projections, Gantt charts for local and international companies, and is currently the team lead of the business documentation team at Kinetic Associates, a consulting company with over a decade track record of optimum delivery to large corporations. He's located in Ikeja, Lagos State. He was a trainer of Zikora on the Google Digital Skills Program and Innovation Growth Hub on the Facebook Grow Your Business program, training young individuals and business owners on how to hone digital skills and leverage digital tools in developing their careers and businesses, respectively. He's currently an MBA student at the Rome Business School with specialization in data science management. He's a graduate of pure mathematics from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. His background in mathematics, statistics, and computer science has built up in him analytical skills relevant for consulting for modern businesses. He's also currently undergoing the BDSP program, a certification program designed to certify all business development service providers in Nigeria, with a view to standardize the quality of service and to also ensure professionalism and consistency of service delivery. The program is licensed by the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, and it is delivered by the Enterprise Development Center, EDC. Ladies and gentlemen, with us this morning is a very astounding human being, and I look forward to his impactful session. Please welcome with me Mr. Precious Olaoluwa Adedeji. Mr. Precious, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's always my pleasure to always come anytime DAP calls me. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the honor, and thank you for the privilege as well. I feel very humbled to be here. Every time I come, I'm always humbled. When your mentor calls you to come and speak, even if you're a great speaker, you'll just be soliloquizing. I remember the first set of speaking engagements that I got. In fact, I remember that as far back as 2019, is it 19 or 18? I reached out to Dr. Ayobel and said, sir, I want to train your teenagers. I want to give back to my, that now my bros. I want to give back to them. I want to train them on this, that, the things that, people pay me to do, but I'm willing to, give them for free. And he was so willing. He said, come and be a monitor. And, that was the beginning of, a very great work. So thank you very much, sir. We honor you. We truly appreciate your contributions. You've stayed relentless, yes, and tenacious, in building capacities. I'm a testimony to that labor of so much selflessness. Thank you, sir. Thank you everyone for joining. And hopefully that you can get maybe one, maybe two things that you can use for 2025 from this conversation. I'm a management consultant, like I call him Daddy Dap, so permit me. Like Daddy Dap said, I consult for businesses and I also consult for individuals as well. And when I saw the topic, I think it's the toughest topic I've had to take. And why, you may ask? This is the topic that is a major challenge for 2025 and even for years to come. And it just shows the kind of mind that that Dad operates in. Say finance, foresight versus forecast. If there's anybody able to forecast or foresight, what's going to happen in our finance this year, I think we need to really pay attention to it. I'm not saying I'm able to do that, but I can give you clues that'll help you to do that. I think I'm comfortable to maybe speak a bit about maybe scripture. I think we've done open prayer, and I believe that most of us here are believers. Even if we're not believers, I mean, we know that there are infallible words in that book. Scripture says that when there's a casting down, we will say there's a lifting up. When there was famine in the land, that was one scripture the Lord gave me 2 years ago when He told me that there was going to be serious austerity in the land. He said, but like, I'm funny enough, my name is also Isaac. I bear Isaac as well. I bear Isaac because I was also a child of laughter. I was not an expected child, so that just kind of resonated. So he said, in this famine, you will sow and you will reap. So don't forget, when we are praying for provision in austerity, in periods of hardship, it is not to say that you will sit down and it will just fall into your hands. No. When there was famine, Isaac sowed, and he reaped 1,000. There's famine, he sowed. It means that Isaac did not just learn how to sow. He has been a farmer. He has learned the sowing techniques. He has learned the soil types. He knows where exactly to sow, and he knows how to sow. So this means that even though the Lord is going to provide, even though some of us will be fine during this period, we need to learn. We need to learn how to sow, and we need to know what kind of ground to sow to. And we need to do it as soon as possible, because you don't prepare for war at war. 2020 was a defining year for a lot of people to actually, a lot of people switch careers in, okay. A lot of people switch careers in 2020. Can I have a testifier? Did you switch career in 2020? Or did you maybe start learning a particular skill in 2020? Okay, do I have a witness here? You can just drop it in the chat box so that I would know. But I've seen, thank you. I can see people. Yes, 2020 was a determining year. It was a reset, and it was a time that people, stayed in their houses and learned skills. People, you won't believe some people, started software development journey, and some of them are very big people now. I mean, earning the millions, So that was the best time to learn. The next best time to learn is now. It is now. It is now. It is now. And that's why I'll be, giving you some insight into things that are to come, both by prophetic and by natural instances. So things that I've seen, I don't like to use that, like, I don't like to use the vision, but truly, we can't be people in these times without, ability to see things that are going on and things that are to come, So what is foresight and what is forecast? I think we should start with that. Foresight is the ability to anticipate and prepare for financial opportunity. Just a minute. My slides is just before me, so you may see that my eye contact is not accurate. I'm trying to use my phone and laptop together, so permit me. So foresight is the ability to anticipate and prepare for financial opportunities before they emerge, while forecast is using historical economic data and trends to make strategic financial decisions. Why is it critical? I'll just list out some things. Economic shifts happen faster than ever before due to artificial intelligence, automation, and geopolitical changes. You can remember the geopolitical changes. The war with Hamas and Israel, caused a major disruption in supply chain. The one with Israel and Russia caused a major challenge with gas, because Russia was one of the biggest suppliers of gas. I don't know if you know that. Then Ukraine was like one of the medical, what I call it, medical tour centers in the world. Like Ukraine has one of the best facilities for medicine. Many of those things were disrupted, because of wars that were happening. And likewise, threats of war from, Taiwan, and China trying to take back Taiwan. So many disruptions were happening. Last year, since 2021, in fact, the world reset in 2020. That's the summary. And AI. AI was a game changer. We saw some AI features. Just one feature knocked out an entire startup company. A company that maybe his work is to, let me give you an example. Maybe convert audio to text. That's their own company. That's what they're about, to collecting money for people, subscription for. A single AI feature will do that and knock them off. So we see that, it's really critical for us to be able to, foresee and forecast for this year. The second point is inflation continues to erode savings, require a new approach to wealth creation. So if you have, let me just explain how inflation does that. If you have 1,000 naira today, or let's assume you have 1,000 naira last year, the value of that 1,000 naira has decreased. The official rate is 35%. Of course, it's more than that, but the official rate is 35%. It has decreased by 35%. It means the money that you're having now, the worth of that money is 650 naira. Even though you have 1,000 naira notes, the worth of that money as compared to last year is 650. Let me explain why. Last year, a bag of pure water was maybe, you buy it from the truck, I think it was 150. I think a single egg was still going for 150 or 100 naira last year. All of those things has doubled. It means that you need more money than that 1,000 naira to buy what you could have bought for 1,000 naira last year. I hope I didn't confuse you. So it means that the worth of that money, even though you have a 1,000 naira note, the worth of it has reduced greatly. And that's when they say that inflation has eroded savings. So when you keep money in a place, that's naira, and you kept it for a very long time. Okay, let's even imagine. Then, when money used to be very big money, 1 naira used to be a lot. I remember I used to use 1 naira. We bought lolly for, was it 1 naira or 50 kobo? We bought Babadudu and all of those things. If you had kept 10,000 naira, 10,000 naira then, in fact, cars were sold for less than 5,000. If you had kept that money, let's say 10,000 naira, which was the big money then, if you kept it till now, please, you'd have a big man then, till now. What would that 10,000 naira look like? Or, however, for the currencies that are stable, if you had kept $10,000 then, now, and you won't spend it, it's still a lot. Do we get how inflation, erodes savings? So we need a new approach to wealth creation. The third is business models are changing. Those who adapt to thrive, while others will struggle. This is not a time to say, and this is my business model, this is what I do. No. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. It's not a time to do everything, but it's a time to now look inward, check the industry, what's selling, check the market, what do they want? Then you find the intersection between the two and stick with it. This is a time to really, be able to change and be flexible. Then we have spiritual insight in financial decisions, which, of course, I feel that, you have to really mention. While numbers and data are crucial, divine wisdom provides an extra edge. And the importance of timing, knowing when to invest, when to hold, when to pivot, all of those things are spiritual insight in financial decisions. Then the role of faith in financial risk management, aligning business and investment with purpose. So let's dive deep into it. I have a very short time, and I really don't like to always encroach into the time schedule. So the first thing is foresight, view the future of financial success. And the first thing is skills skills of the future for earning capacity. Or some of us are living in the past. Some of the jobs that we have now, they will soon stop existing. Have you seen that nobody really goes to the bank again? Have you noticed? When last did you go to the bank? Most of the bank, why should I go to the bank to deposit? Why? Why do I even have cash? Not to go depositing. It's a cashless economy. And that's that's what everybody's doing. It's card economy, cashless. So why would I need to go to the bank? When I can make transactions on my device, and there are many fintech, able to do that. So as a banker, you're not learning a skill that can help you to earn, after you lose your job as a banker, you are joking with yourself. So there are a lot of skills that we can learn to help us earn. So the wealthiest individuals in the next decade will be creators, problem solvers, and tech-driven entrepreneurs. Let me just quickly run down the high demand skills for 2025 and beyond. Data science and artificial intelligence. We're in the world of AI. Even if it's as low as data annotation. Take for example, data annotation is extreme. Excuse me, please. Sorry for that. So yeah, I was talking about data science and AI. We're in the era of AI, artificial intelligence, and we see how the AI is taking up a lot of startups, taking up a lot of companies, and we need to. I was talking about data annotation. Yes. So data annotation is like one of the easiest ways to enter into AI. How do I mean? These annotators are those that train AI bots, train AI systems, you know, train the AI to behave in a certain way. And an example is they can feed the AI system to be able to know medicine. And of course, that's the next phase of AI now. We have AI for medicine. So, when you go and meet doctors and you say, I have malaria, they'll ask you so many other symptoms. That's the same way the AI is trained to interact with patients. And at the end of the day, they'll diagnose. It's just like carrying the brain of the medical doctor into a system, and you can now ask, okay, what about the part where they feel temperature, they touch you, there are robots that will be trained to also do that. So what I'm saying in essence is, even if you are a professional, learn the technology part of it. Learn the technology arm of that profession so that you don't become obsolete. The next is digital marketing and automation. People want to, no matter what that is going on, people want to sell. They said even in the Ukraine war, Mary Kay was still selling massively. I don't know what people are making up for in war, but digital marketing, automation, things around selling online, because everybody's online, those things will thrive. And we saw it even in COVID-19, see the massive sales that happened with digital marketing. The next is blockchain and Web3 technologies. Digital ownership will shape wealth. And that's not really my field, to be honest, but that's something I really wish to learn in 2025. Blockchain, Web3, those are advanced computer technologies that can help us to be positioned for wealth. Then the next is renewable energy and sustainability. The flood, the fires, everything going on is pointing to the fact that I wouldn't say we are overusing the earth, but we are careless. We are not managing the earth properly. So companies, the world is trying to ensure that we preserve the earth. So if you have an idea for a green business, how that carbon emissions can be lowered in a particular industry, in a particular sector, that's a very good skill to have. Then I would like to add cybersecurity. With the proliferation of technology, there's a need to have a lot of cybersecurity analysts, experts that can, keep our devices, keep our internet secured. See, the internet has gone beyond making research on Google. Oh. Planes, you can see when Microsoft had a glitch, some months ago. I think it was almost for 24 hours. Planes were grounded. A lot of things has been digitalized. I want to keep those things safe and secure. The people will need us, and they are very few because it's actually very hard. The next is entrepreneurship and leadership development. That's a very good skill to have. People can have all the resources, but because they lack leadership, it will be managed properly. So we need more leaders, we need more entrepreneurs to turn resources into what I call it, into meals that can bring forth money. How do you future-proof your earning capacity? Lifelong learning, always learn, upskill. See, I have a mentor. She's a woman. She always, in fact, I'm not sure I can match her. She has learned coding. This one that has businesses, a politician, she's always upskilling, always upskilling, always upskilling, and that's a lot of young people, a lot of us young people, we don't like to learn. We tend to take comfortable very quickly. YouTube is a free university. You have even Instagram, even Twitter, there are a lot of pages that are dedicated to learning, training. It doesn't even have to be a very formal setting, but always ensure that you are learning every single day. Strategic networking. Connect with high value individuals in your industry, in your environment, in your neighborhood, in your church, everywhere. Just always connect with people. Be the person that people like. Some people take pride in that. I don't take rubbish. I don't take nonsense. When I do this, nobody, hey, are you for real? You take pride in being arrogant? The nice people have not even been given opportunities, not talk of someone that, is playing that kind of card. You don't need to be difficult. You don't need to be defensive so that you are respected. No. Once you start increasing in value, people will respect you. There was a case with, because I also manage a teenage ministry, teenage department, just like the way that the dad brought us up. We also are bringing, some people up as well. I'm not sure that maybe I could have one or two persons here that had gone through, that oversight. When I started it, when we started, some of them, teenagers now, they will show themselves. They can be rude, they can be different, all shades. All shades of rudeness, and sometimes it will be very tempting for me to exert power and say, I'm the this and that. No, I feel that when you do that, you've lost the power that you feel that you have. Some of them will say, you're not, I'm not doing like that. That will do this. And I'm like, that is one individual that I can't even be the tenacity, the power, I don't have that strength. I don't have that energy, to be honest. This is my method. But I kept increasing in value and they began to see it. And I didn't have to force them, to respect me as well. So that is one area that I feel that we need to really work on, not to try to exert, not and that's what I've learned from a lot of my mentors. They don't exert themselves. They're very unassuming, and they have so much great power. Someone may not have the lingua. Me, I'm very good at this. I'm very oral. I'm very good at speaking. Man, I could pass for a small orator, a beginner orator. But there are a lot of people that don't have that kind of grace or level of oratory, but they have sufficient power. They have enough power to make things work. So it's not by that we connect with people. We must respect everyone that we see, must value everybody genuinely, smile always, connect with people. Then the third is to invest in knowledge-based business. People see, I'm not even joking, this January, I want to die. This January that passed, in fact, I've never seen such an engaging month before. I've never in my life. from one consulting gig to the other, and I still have my 9 to 5. Everybody's just pulling me, coaching, and people say there's no job. There's job, oh, my people. In fact, job want to wound people that have job, So consulting, is a very good way because it's a knowledge-based business. People want to grow their businesses. People want to become better because things are becoming worse. They want to come out of it. And some of us have the solutions to it. Sometimes it's just structure that they need, Then content creation, coaching, those are ways that, we can earn money from. Personal development for wealth creation. Wealth is an outcome of value creation. So what we should be focused on every day is to be able to create value. And we create value by being valuable as a person. So, for example, the way I can create value is to maybe write a book, which I'm trying to do, sell a course, do something that people can buy as a product, as a service, and have multiple streams of income. The Lord is going to bless the works of our hands. Works of our hands. It means that our hands need to work. Not necessarily salary. Salary cannot be the big breaker. I'm not even joking. Salary is just to maintain a lifestyle. For you to be rich, for you to be wealthy. I'm not saying you should quit your job. I still have a 9 to 5. But you must begin to build a small business, something that you can always fall back to. It doesn't have to be big. It can be drop shipping. It can be, can be anything. But you need to make research. You need to pray. You need to find what your hand will find doing. So, that is really key. Learn how to sell. That's one skill that robots will not take. Maybe some extent, I'm now seeing a lot of ads that are trying to convert me, maybe, but that human touch, that psychology, I'm not sure that they can replicate anytime soon. Then master financial literacy, understand how money works, learn about money, learn about money. It's not everything you use cash to buy. I was telling someone, I was just laughing, recently. I have a platform where I bought 12 movie tickets for 7,000 naira. 12 movie tickets. That's equivalent of 48,000 naira. Tickets are 4,000. There are some places that tickets are 5,000 naira. That's 60K. Now, a lot of people go to watch movie and they spend that 7,000 naira on just one movie. But I've been able to get more value for less amount because I understand how these things work. I understand there are platforms that help us to do all of those things. And I try to plug in as much as possible. A very good way is also HMO. Instead of always spending money when you visit the hospital, you can do an HMO that covers that. It helps you save money. Then I also looked at my family. I said, if I don't insure my mom and my dad, if there's an emergency, an health issue, or whatever, we don't pray for that. We're really trusting the Lord that the Lord's going to keep our health. But if there are eventualities that maybe it can even be something around maybe glasses or dental, it may not be something major, that there's an insurance to cover them. And there's some that are very low as 15,000 naira, like the one in Lagos Healthcare Insurance. 15,000 naira, you can have access to healthcare all through the year. That's a way of saving money, and so many, many more things. You don't have to spend the cash to get value. You always have to spend the cash to get value. You are very poor. You're very poor. You should leverage relationships, leverage platforms, leverage technology, leverage everything that you can, keeping cash. Cash is king, staying liquid. Then the next is to diversify your investment. The greatest mistake you can make is to keep all your money in one place, except there's an instruction, that you had, spiritually. Some people say, put all your eggs in one basket and give it to Jesus or give it to the Lord. That is fine. To be honest, that is fine. But except you have that kind of instruction, diversify your investment because now nothing is stable. Trump, this is a new government, trying to, shake things across the world. This is not a time that, you put all your money into just one thing. Or imagine some people were working in the, what's it called? Some people were working in the healthcare NGOs. And there's a recent, I don't know if you heard about it, Trump pulling the plug on USAID. Now, a lot of medical aids are not able to come to Nigeria as before. Things around malaria, typhoid, HIV, so many of those drugs, have been halted, not just for the recipients, but the healthcare workers that were paid from this service. So this is a time to diversify your investment, diversify how you make money. And I would have loved to go to the 3-layer investment framework, which is low risk investment, medium risk investment, and high risk investment. Each has their own pros and their own cons and how to approach them. Before you invest in anything, make sure that you've researched exhaustively. Except for if you're not trying to say something. Okay, I think no one is unmuted. Okay, done. All right. Let me just go to so I'm trying to see the very quick one I can really, because of time. Actually, this is like a 3 hours, 4 hours, starters class, not even going in depth though. But I'll just try to be, and please just try as much as possible to get as much. Some of those things, I know we know some of these things, just to remind us, and I'm also reminded myself. So I thought about starting a small business, a small business that is able to help you to stay flexible, to stay scalable, something that you can scale. When maybe you're trying to leave your paid employment, you can move it from that small scale to a large scale. And it can be started with low capital, but high impact. When I'm thinking of this, don't think of doing chin-chin. When I say go and start something, don't think of doing chin-chin. You can do chin-chin, but don't think of doing chin-chin like everybody. You not do it 5 or 15 naira. You can do chin-chin of different flavors. Pineapple with ginger flavored chin-chin of different shapes. You have to be creative with it because nobody has time for all of those. And we are doing fish roll and all those things again. You must think big, even though you do those things, but it must be in a different way. Then digital spaces, those are very easy, to do. One of the goals I've set for myself is to create a brand around myself here. Before now, I get my gigs and I'm okay. But now I see a need to put a brand around myself so that, maybe little content creation and alternative energy solution is a very big deal now. You can partner with some companies that do it to offer the services. You don't have to be the one to have the product or service itself. You can be a third party that connect buyers, with sellers. So there are some inflation proof business models. Why do businesses struggle during inflation? Because operational expenses have increased, consumer spending power has reduced. So what can you do to survive this? Focus on essential goods and services. Food. People will eat. People will always eat. People will always transport. People will always use logistics. Then do a recurring revenue model. These are times when you now start doing subscription-based business model. For example, you can buy protein, carbohydrate, all of those things for 50K or 100K, per month, so that you are committed to having an expected, revenue every month. Then optimize cost through lean operation. This is not when you now gonna employ everybody. There are AI that will make things work faster for you. There are AI that will make things optimize for you. Leverage on them. Then being led by the spirit, yes. That cannot be underestimated, to be very honest, and it cannot be overstated. These are times to be really led by the spirit. You can have all the financial knowledge, you can have everything, and you can just miss it by bad timing, by bad partnerships, but not identifying hidden opportunities. So these are times for us to seek wisdom, for us to seek counsel, before making financial moves, being patient and discerning, and aligning with, finances with your vision and purpose. When it's your purpose, when it's your vision, you stay true to it. Please just extra 5 minutes and I'll be done. So the forecast part of it, is using history to predict the future. Go and check, the recessions that have happened in the past. What did it teach us? What businesses survived, and how prepared are we for the next global economic shift? How prepared are you? There's always a reset, and it's coming. It's coming. How ready are you? To recover from that kind of crash. The one that happened in 2008 rendered those that had bonds, what are those fears, messed it up. So what are you planning? And this is a time to have cash. I told you, cash is king, because now people start selling their cars, their properties at a very low rate. This is a time to grab your copy because you have cash, and the thing will now rise up again. And then that's how billionaires are made. These are times to be a billionaire. Then use your own books to your own finances. Audit yourself. Either as a salary earner, as a business owner, check yourself over the years. What have I been spending money on? How have I been getting money on? Can I reduce this? Can I increase this? For me now, when I make transfer, I put description so that when I want to do my audit, I know what I spent money for. And there are some fintechs that help you to do that as well. Partnership and collaborations, that is the future of wealth. You need to be able to look for people that are complementary to you, and offer, services together. I think I'll just stop here and take questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Ayobelo, for this opportunity. I think I'll just take questions. Can anyone hear me? This one. All right, thank you. All right, I don't think, are there questions? Okay, doctor, I think there are no questions.
Thanks so much.
Okay, I can see a question. How does one not be a jack of all trades, a master of none? I think I saw a quote that said you can be a jack of all trades, a master of all. But to be very honest, we can't do everything and excel at everything. We can start broad. When I mean broad, you can start as a generalist. You can do everything. But over time, we begin to now, start niching. But in our niche is not that we now stay permanently there. You can check the billionaires. Some of them are, diversified. See Elon Musk. Elon Musk is into space. Elon Musk, space travel. Is into electric cars. Is into social media. Is into, I mean, there are 5 major industries. But he started with just focusing on one. I think that was Tesla. And I began to move into other niches. So you started general, very good. I think it's now be good for you to now niche. So when I say niche, not necessarily one thing. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, and you are very good at, and you have the capacity to be able to handle. When the time comes, you would know, and you begin to also shift grounds. And move. Before now, I've always been a consultant with everybody, but I'm already moving into marketing. In fact, I've served in the role of marketing also, and creative, development. I didn't know I could do that, some years ago. But now that's another niche that I'm already playing in, and maybe over time, I may still move into another niche. I'm thinking of agriculture, So I think it's very, 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 very good that we are very timely with all of those things. Now, for me in consulting, I'm well established. I work with a lot of top consultants. When there's any consulting gig, they don't need to think before they, call me. I've been able to prove myself over and over in that space, as well as marketing. I have results. I have track records that I've been able to, really do. If I want to move into agriculture now, it's easier. But when someone is trying to do everything, it will be messy. So I feel that there's a lot of timeliness and a lot of understanding to achieve that. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Thank you. All right. Is there any final question before I take my leave? All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Ayobele. Let's enjoy the rest of the training today.
Thank you so much, sir, for this powerful session. So it's very, very insightful. I mean, like there are things, like abstractly, but you articulated those things very well in a way that they would think. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, sir. Thanks so much, sir. So if anybody has a question, you can signify, you can raise your hand or send a message to the chat box. So yeah, we are still. This is game face, and then we are moving. We are moving on. I mean, having that game face. So we'll be going on to the next part, and I know that if you have been following, you should have a pen and a paper ready, getting insight for things that would help you run in this new year. In this new year, the year is very, very fresh. It's February, and you can still plan yourself better. So we're moving on to the next speaker. We have a very amazing speaker. I mean, I've had her speak a couple of times. I've met her a couple of times, and uh I'm just going to read her profile. I'm just going to read her profile. So we have our next speaker is going to be Ms. Feintola Daniels. Feintola Daniels is a family and abuse recovery therapist. She's passionate about relationships with values. She's the lead counselor at Brilliant Therapy, an organization geared towards restoring family togetherness and family value system. She's a light bearer leader, a certified counselor with specialty in premarital, marriage, family, and abuse. She's trained in neuro-linguistic programming, trauma and abuse recovery, at ADI, College of Psychotherapy and Counseling in Nigeria, mindfulness, advanced childhood experience, and early trauma from the West Midland Authority, UK. A certified family life practitioner from the Institute of Family Systems and Development. Also a certified master mentor from the Institute of Marriage and Family, USA. She's a member of African Network of Professional Counselors and Network of Family Life Practitioners. A voice of the family, her sole vision is to see happy homes void of dysfunctionalities, um, helping people heal from past painful experiences, emotional sexual abuse. She helps women achieve relationship successes and help men build family structures that enhances family togetherness. She runs a group therapy, Overcome Your Pain, an intervention program for the recovery of sexual abuse and emotional abuse just before you marry, another one just before you marry, a result-based premarital counseling sessions. Intertwine, a relationship enlightenment platform for singles and married. Safe Conference, a yearly marriage retreat workshop for 0 to 5 years in marriage who wants to take their marital goals from threshold to bliss. She also serves as a counselor at Friend of Jesus, FOJ. She serves as a counselor consultant with Sourcewine Africa, X3 Ideas, CAV Hub, and other non-governmental organizations. She has featured in the national dailies and magazines and shared insights on on live broadcasts on radios and television, BBC, TVC, among others. As an author with 2 books and other insightful materials, she keeps transforming lives, preserving marriages with her belief, one family at a time. Happily ever after is possible. Recovery is possible. Faintola Daniels is happily married and blessed with wonderful children in the light nation. Amazing. Please, just do a shout out to our speaker, a round of applause to our great achievement and great future. And I know that we are going to learn so much. Over to you, Ma. Over to you, Ma. Over to you, Ma. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I joined with 2 links. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so very much for inviting me today. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor A.Y. Bello, for the opportunity. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for also joining this morning. It's a privilege, and special thank you to this first speaker. That was amazing. God bless you. Okay, so the name on my display name is Bright. Wondering why, but that's cool. I'm also bright. Right, so please, I would like us to just quickly say a short prayer this morning. Father, we thank you. We give you all the praise. We give you all the glory. We say, be thou exalted in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for today. Thank you, Lord, because we know that you have gone ahead of us this year. This year, 2025, is going to be our best year yet. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Lord, as we learn this morning, Father, you speak to us this morning in the mighty name of Jesus. You speak to us this morning. Thank you, blessed Lord. Thank you, my Redeemer. In Jesus' wonderful name, we have prayed. Amen and amen. Please. Honestly, I'm excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here. Please, I would like to share my slide. I don't know if I can be added as a co-host so that I can share all. I don't know if I can share already. Okay, I can share. All right. So can anybody see my screen right away? Victor, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So this beautiful morning, we're going to be looking at that game face that you need for 2025. When you hear game face, really, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? It looks like, oh, are we supposed to have a face? Or are we supposed to put up a particular face for a game? You know, that kind of thing. Are we even calling 2025 a game? This is year 2025. You need to be serious. You know, that kind of thing. But guess what? We're going to be learning all of that this morning. Right now, I said, okay, let's go. The only reason this year is going to be better than last year is in the different approach this year. The same you that wrote your plans last year, the same you that wrote your visions and all of that. But for you to achieve your desired results or to meet you at the end of this year, you need a game plan. And not just a game plan, you need to follow through. Now, some of us, it is not because we have not written our plans before. It is not because we have not even planned before. It's not because we don't, have heard about visions. I've heard about all of those things that you need to prepare. You need to carry yourself. You need to do all of that, But at the end of the day, sometimes we still meet ourselves hitting the rock bottom. We still meet ourselves by 2025, December, you still find out that, oh, I couldn't meet up my goals. Some of us, it's February. Now, today is a new month, a happy new month, right? Some of us, we have lost track of the visions or the goals we have for 2025. Let me tell you why. Number one, either something came up Number two, maybe you were not realistic with your plans. Number three, maybe you didn't follow through because of certain reasons I will share. And I would like us to continue this morning. Now, when we say game face, what do we really mean? It refers to expression or attitude someone adopts to prepare for a challenge, competition, or difficult situations. It represents focus, determination, and readiness to perform at a higher level. You have written your goals, but then you need a motivation from within. You need a strong face. You know, when they say carry strong face, that is what you need in 2025. And that's the face we are talking about. If it is not going to be like 2024, 2023, 2020, whatever, it is because you are going to carry a stronger face than the past years. Is somebody saying something?
Fine, thank you. Yeah, I've sent you messages. I said send your account. I said we should get started.
I can't hear what the person said. What did the person say? Precious. Okay. Victor, is the person speaking to me?
No, the person wasn't speaking to you. The person joined and then the person's mic was unmuted.
All right. Let's continue. Sorry about that distraction, everyone. Please, may I have your attention? Let's go. Now, the best motivation always comes from within. That's what Michael Jackson said. He says it comes from within. The best motivation, the best advice you would hear comes from within. Sometimes the reason we fail is because we have not gathered enough momentum or capacity from inside. And it's not anybody's fault. We're not judging anybody this morning. Now, Muhammad Ali said, champions are not made in the gym. Champions are made from something deep inside of them. They have dreams, they have vision, they have desire. That desire, it has to be evident in your face. People have to be able to, the people need to see that, no, this guy knows what he's doing. People need to see that, no, there's something pushing you, there's something driving you. And that drive is what motivates the shape and the posture of your face. Now, Kerry Walsh says, the wall is in your mind, playing tricks on you. You need to say one more step. I can do it. I can do this. I have more inside of me. I have more inside of me. What do you have inside of you this morning? What have you said to yourself? What have you been saying to yourself, right? Let me share you a story of what my grandma used to say. I live with my grandma. I was brought up with my grandma brought me up anyway. She used to say something. You know, when we're complaining about everything, we're looking at what other people are doing. My mates are doing this. Oh, this one is in the university already. This one is already, you know, we keep complaining a lot. My grandma would say, oh, so it means that, oh Lord, it means that the person people are watching does not stop to watch. For example, Drogba. No, let's not use Drogba. Let's use one very popular one. Let's use Ronaldo. So Ronaldo now, everybody goes to the stadium to go and watch Ronaldo. So he will now stand and say, people are here, they are watching me. Oh, people are here, they are watching me. Oh, they are looking at me. Let me see. Ewebelo, you're there. Victor, you're there. No, he does not stand to watch because he is the game. He is the game. The moment he starts focusing on other things, he will lose out. And guess what? People will stop following him. The speaker ahead said that if you have value, people will come for you. If you have value, people will come for you. That is what it is in 2025. 2025 is the year of giants. 2025 is the year of people who are ready to take it, who are ready, that will not look at the sound of the market, that will not look at the noise around them, that will look within. They would look within the strength. They will gather momentum from inside. Because right now, you need to focus on your focus. You cannot stop and be watching. The moment you are looking at what others are doing, you are going to be distracted. The moment that you are looking at the success of others, you are going to be distracted. The moment you are looking at anything that could cause distraction, you will be left behind. Now, so I said, what does game plan look like? For athletes, different areas of our life, different aspects of our life, having a game face, having a game plan can look like something. For people in sports, you know, game face look like intensity, confidence, and mental toughness. In 2025, you need it because people will tread on your mental health. People will tread on your confidence. People will tread on you, but it's you that will stand. You will not allow them. I said it is about staying focused under pressure and not letting emotions betray you. See, because you cannot even hide. Everywhere is tough. Nigeria is tough on you. Parents are tough. Friends are tough. Everything work. You are going to be under pressure. So you need to prepare your mind that in 2025, I am going to gather the pressure to be able to pressure my pressure. Right? In workplace, what game face looks like is maintaining professionalism. Even in stressful situations, you are stressed, there is deadline. You still need to put up the act. You still need to come out professionally. There is no time to come out shabbily. There is no time to come out unkempt or unprofessional. Because that's the face you carry this year. If you want to achieve your goals, you need that face. If not, people will take advantage of you. They will mess you up. Leaders often wear a face as well, because some of us here, we are leaders in our various enterprises, churches, and all of that. How do they come up? They come up as confidence. You're going to be working with teams. Even when they are going to be talented, people are the most difficult kind of people to, kind of things to work with. They will stress you. They will make your intestine to shift. But you need that confidence. I'm coming in relationship, and all of us, most of us will be in relationship this year. Some of us who are still going to be in relationship one time or the other. Guess what? Staying strong and composed during conflict. Some of us cannot handle conflict. Some of us cannot handle arguments. In 2025, if you want to achieve your results, some of us, we have, you want the best marriage possible. You want heaven on earth, but you don't have what it takes. All you have is mere talks. You need a plan, and you need the tenacity to get it, right? It's also about showing up for your partner when you're struggling internally. The moment some of us are struggling, that we have issues, personal issues, your boss is disturbing you, you start transferring aggression here and there. People will not be wondering, what did I do to this person? But we were good one time. It still means you need to show up. You may be down, but you have the ability to still be there for others, knowing fully well that you will not give up on yourself. Game face is self-motivation, the ability to act confident. You start to feel more confident when you act confident. If you know you don't have what it takes, you don't have that confidence, just act it. Act confidence. Before you know it, you will begin to have confidence. Right? Another one is ability to prevent being emotionally exhausting, how to handle your emotions, right? From being vulnerable unnecessarily. Now, there are some limiting factors. There are some things that can make your face to shift. There are some things that can shift your game face. There are some things that can limit your game face. Number one is lack of preparation. I'm going to use the story of Goliath. All of us know that David killed Goliath. But guess what? Goliath was a strong man. Goliath was a man that has prepared. It takes a man that has fully prepared to be able to challenge a nation. Goliath will come every day. For 40 days, he will come and challenge the whole nation. The nation that they call themselves God's people. He gets something with Goliath chop. He gets something where they give him confidence. There's something that was motivating him. And guess what? It is not mouth. He knows what he has done. He knows what he has put in place. He was sure of himself. Go and look at how the Bible described Goliath. He knows his onions. He was well. He was good. That man is good. It's just like somebody in Nigeria now. You know, after much preparation, you will now go and tell the president of America and call all America and say, please bring out one person, just one person that can face me. And a whole nation, a whole army that have killed the Amorites, Amalekites, all of them were shaking just because of one man. That man prepared. Goliath has prepared. He prepared. He knew what he was doing. So if you want your face to stay, if you want to have that confidence from inside, preparation has to go. Preparation has to go, be put in place. Another one is lack of mental resilience. Why in that world, in that season, that people do not care anymore. You remember when they say don't grieve for anybody. Imagine everybody is not grieving for anybody. Right? So this is the year that you need to look inward and say, how can I begin to build that mental capacity? How can I begin to, grow mentally? What do I need to do? What are the things I need to put in place? Because your work will stress you. Relationship will stress you. Family will stress you. Nigeria will stress you. Church will stress you. Everybody will stress you. But it's you that you will be prepared, right? Some of us, the reason why our game face has changed, the reason why we are still not there yet is because we're dwelling on past glory. And in 2026, in 2006, I was the head boy, I did this, I did that, and all of that. We know. But what about 2024, 2025? You cannot dwell on past glory. You are not living in the past. What have you done for the future? Are you bringing that same energy you put in 2006? Are you bringing that same energy you put in last year? You need to rise. Stop focusing on the past. Move on. Bring the energy for 2025. Low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. Let me tell you something. Low self-esteem has made people, shoot themselves, not achieve their desired goals. It has destroyed a lot of people's destiny. It is the way you look at yourself. It is the way you address yourself that people will address you. The moment you think you are small, people will address you as small. The moment you reduce yourself for other people, they will trample on you the more. You cannot begin to shrink yourself for people. Give yourself the wings to fly, and people will raise your hands. They will allow you to fly. But if you think you're small, you are definitely small. Because there's no amount of you are big, you are this, you are this, that you will hear that will change your mind. It is you that will first change your mindset. And I understand that a lot has made you feel like that. But don't worry, it is not your fault. It is not your fault. Everything that has cost you, that has limited you, that has made you to shrink yourself, it is not your fault. And that is not who you really are. That is not your identity. It is life and whatever that has made you see yourself as like that. But that is not the way God sees you. That is not the way you are made. That is not your identity. That is not your true self. You are the problem. Everybody is tired of working with you. That is because you do not understand yourself enough, and you do not understand other people. If you can still hear me, can you say yes or put one in the comment section, please? I want to be sure that you can hear me. I want to be sure that you can hear me. If you can hear me, say yes, or just say yes in the comments. Please just say yes. Victor, can you hear me, please? I want to be sure.
Yes, I can hear you.
We can.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, emotional pains and trauma. Let me tell you the simple truth. People want you to have pain. People want you to remain in your debts. People want you to remain in trauma. People want that. See, people want you to succeed, but not more than them. We know that you have gone through a lot. We know that your past, people abused you, people shredded you, people made you feel like nothing. Guess what? It is very valid. That pain is valid. That pain that you are going through is valid. In fact, it is normal for you to feel like that. But you cannot stay there. You cannot stay there. Emotional pains and trauma would limit you. They will shrink you. They will take your power and your self-worth from you. And that is what the people that caused the pain want. The person that abused you wants to be lesser than them. The person that hurt you wants to be lesser than them. Emotional pain would limit you. External influence like family. Oh my God. Families, if you come from a good home, from a good family, you don't know what God has done for you. But if your family and friends are your greatest challenge, you need to be very careful. You need to find a way of riding over it. I remember my uncle would tell me, oh, my uncle, my mommy's brother, he would tell me, you cannot go to the university. And I would say, you know, I would just laugh. And I would say, I will go and I will come back. I will go and I will come back. He said, no, you can't go. I kept on writing jam and I'll come and show them, see, I get that, and I'm going for post-UME. By the time I show them, they say, oh, no, you can't go, you can't go. I didn't understand. I was a child. One of my friends was just like, the next jam you write, don't tell anybody at home and don't go far. I said, okay. I wrote jam. I picked Lagos. I didn't go far. I got the admission. Nobody in my house knew that I gained admission. It was until I got to 300 level that my auntie found out and said, she saw me where I was doing internship. She had to ask me, what's she doing there? And he said, oh, she's doing internship. She went back home and told everybody, I said, how did I get into university? What have I been doing? How did I do it? Your own family, they can destroy you sometimes. You would not allow. It took 3 years until I took my power back to say, if I keep watching these people, they will not allow me. They say, we want you to go and learn hairdressing. I said, it's no problem. I don't have problem with learning hairdressing. I will learn hairdressing, but I will have BSc hairdressing. I will first have BSc and I will still go back to go and learn the hairdressing. So you want to really know how you want to manage family problems. Guess what? By the time I finished school, I could not go back home because I was scared that something might happen because I finished university. I could not go back home. It was only my mom and my sibling that knew I was in school. And I kept on paying the school fees by myself. Thank God for people that came through. So family can really limit you. Family can limit you. Guess what? I don't know what would have happened if I didn't go. But the counseling that I'm doing today started from the university. It started from there. Now, negative vision of yourself. How do you see yourself? Just more like self-esteem. How do you see yourself? What do you think about yourself? Lack of focus. I said it, you cannot be watching. The Bible says we are surrounded with a cloud of witness. You cannot stand and be looking. The world is waiting for the manifestation of the Godhead. You cannot stand and be looking. The world is waiting for you. Many destinies are tied to your destiny. If you fail, 1,000 people will fail. I can imagine if I had not done counseling, or if I maybe I was just somewhere. All the people that have gained themselves, recovered from abuse, recovered and restored their marriages, I wonder what would have happened. Of course, God would have come through for them. But thank God I was able to be available. Lack of healthy coping mechanism. Some of us, the way we cope with stress, the way we cope with issues, the way we cope with problems, with pain, is we use defense mechanism, maladaptive defense mechanism that are hurting. That's the way you cope. So an example of defense mechanism is repression. You are feeling pain, but you are repressing it. You don't want to remember. Selective forgetfulness of what you're going through. You know, when they say, oh, you need to deal with this pain, you need to heal up and all of that. We say, you see that issue? I have forgotten. I don't even want to remember. Guess what? You don't want to remember, but it has gone into your subconscious. It will play itself when it finds a familiar ground. That's what trauma does. When you don't deal with them, when you don't deal with issues on time, the moment they find a familiar ground, it will replay itself. For example, when you see a lot of people that maybe people that give birth out of wedlock, guess what? They end up giving birth out of wedlock. It is because they have not dealt with it. They have not broken the cycle of abuse. Because there is a demeanor, there is a face you would have. I like to use this example a lot. If 4 people are standing and you need to ask for an address, what we naturally do is that you look at their faces. You look at their faces and say, oh, who will I ask? Oh, this one, his face is strong. This one, oh, no, she's not looking nice. This one, 4 people are standing in front of you, and then you go and meet just one person and say, excuse me, sir, I'm looking for number 10. What you have done is that you have selected, you have looked at their faces, you have examined. That's what predator does. So they examine you, they look at your demeanor, they see the face you carry. And the moment you have been abused or you are in pain or you are hurting, there is a face that you will carry. And it's easy for you to be abused again. It's easy for the predator to come for you again. Because there's a demeanor you carry. When somebody wants to toast yourself, you know, guys do it. They'll say, no, leave that girl. It's because you know that girl, they carry strong face. There's something about your face. It is from within. There's a motivation that motivates your face. There's a motivation that forms your face, right? So let's quickly run. I'm losing time now. So I said to achieve your desired results in 2025, to have a strong face, a game face this year, you must plan your moves, your goals, follow through to the letter. Some of us, we have goals, but what we have are not even smart enough. You say, I want to read this year. When do you want to start reading? Which month? How many books? Which day? How many hours? How many pages? You need to niche it down to the letter, to the smallest, so that you can be accountable and it is measurable enough. Number 2, there's no room for negative talks. I have a friend in the uni. She might be drinking Gary and maybe the Gary spilled out. She will say, Temi Olori Buruku ni Esha. She will say, Temi, your head is not correct. I will be like, on top Gary, we pour, on top Gary, right? So examine what you say to yourself. When nobody is there, what are you saying? What are you saying to yourself? What is your mind hearing? Your mind is where everything about your life is being cooked. Your mind is where your decisions are formed. Your mind is where your emotions are formed. You want to show a happy face, it begins in the mind. You want to show a sad face, it begins in the mind. So what are you saying to yourself? You have told yourself, you see, in this 2025, I think if I just say 25K like this, I think 25K per month is okay. If I can just be seeing food to eat, Muti, we're all right. Oh, we're all right, come. You are limiting yourself. There's no room for that in 2025. You want to carry that face, you want to achieve your goals, you want to achieve your plans, no room. Kosaye. Number 3, heal from past pains and trauma. Heal. It's time to move on. Those pains have not added any advantage to you. They have caused you more stress. They have caused you to repress. They have caused you to project. They have caused you to limit yourself. It is true, it is not your fault. We know. I'm sorry it happened to you. I'm sorry everything went wrong. But my dear, it is time to keep up. It is time to pick it up. It is time to start all over. That pain is not you. You are not your pain. You are not your trauma. They are just there to limit you. But guess what? There's a purpose for it and there's a reason for it. I cannot even begin to explain to you why there's a purpose now because you may even challenge me. But God knows why you went through it. But the reason you went through it, I can assure you, is not to stop you. It's not to make you die. It's not to limit you. You can come out of it. It's time to heal up. One of it is you need to acknowledge that the pain is there. You need to become self-aware of it. You need to know the effect of what he has done for you. You need to know the disadvantage it has cost you. If you have mourned anything in that relationship, in that pain, in that hurt, you need to mourn it. If you have lost anything, you need to mourn everything you have lost. You mourn, it is maybe you lost money, you lost your virginity, you lost friendship. You need to mourn it. Mourn it. Count whatever you have lost and begin to move on. If you need to seek for help, professional help, it is time. My dear, it is time. You can't stay there. It is not profitable. It will kill you. Another one is you need to forgive yourself. Some of us, you may be thinking, if I did not go there, it will not happen. If I did not talk to him, it will not happen. If I did not pick the call, it will not happen. Forgive yourself. What you did at that time was based on the knowledge you have. You cannot begin to treat yourself that way because now you know better. You need to forgive those that wronged you. Yes, they did it. They also did it based on the knowledge they have, based on the exposure they have. I'm sorry about that. Some of us, we resent God at the moment. You are asking God, why did you allow this to happen to me? Because for the longest time, I was also asking God, I was saying, God, why did you allow me to come into this family? When there is Dangote, when there is Elon Musk, when there is this one and that one. Why? I could have just come into that Didio's family. I could have just, maybe we are from the same town. You could have just added me. You know, that kind of thing. Otedola is there. Why did I come to this family? You know, some of us may be resenting God at the moment. You need to forgive God as well. Forgive God. He knows what he's doing. Just try. Forgive him. He does not mind. He does not mind that you resent him at the moment. All he do is he wants you to forgive him too. Because he wants to have you back as well. Right? Another one is develop emotional intelligence. Understand yourself, understand people, become self-aware. Develop a healthy coping mechanism for negative situation. If somebody hurts you now, instead of breaking bottle and all of that, can you calm down a moment and think things through? Somebody is doing something you don't like. Instead of just, let's just be going, I don't want to talk. Trying every means to please that person. Can you find a different means to address the issue without being rude? Develop a healthy coping mechanism because you cannot shrink yourself this year. If you shrink yourself, your face no go show, right? Believe in yourself this year. Believe you can do it. There is no proof for what you are afraid of. I'm afraid I will fail. There is no proof that you will fail in 2025. There is no proof that that project will not work. There is no proof that that relationship will not work. Because why? You have that motivation to make things work. You have prepared yourself. You have gathered knowledge you need to gather. You are putting plans in place. You are putting system in place. It's not like last year that you were not prepared. It's not like last year that you were not realistic. So there's no proof that you will fail again. You have written JAMB 4 times and you fail, you're failing. You have come, you have gathered the cost, you have looked at it. Okay, the reason why I failed is because I didn't go to tutorial center. I didn't prepare well. So now you need to take that form again. Go to tutorial center, study, burn the midnight candle, because there is no proof for what you're afraid of. This year you will succeed because there is a face you carry this year. That face is confidence, is tenacity. That face. You need to rediscover yourself. Rediscover yourself. There's need to master yourself. Be aware. What are the things I can take? What are the things I cannot take? What are the things? What time of the day do I work well? What are the friends I need to do away with? You need to understand yourself. You need to rediscover yourself so that you can learn self-mastery. It is only those who know themselves that can achieve their goals. Only those. No wonder there's a saying, it says that be true to thyself. To thy own self be true. To thy own self be true. In conclusion, only you can limit you. You are your face. Your face is your personality. Every identity is in the face. Oh, she's a happy woman. She's a beautiful woman. Oh, she's a smart person. There's this demeanor she carries. The demure we used to talk about, demure, right? The demure we used to talk about is in the face. Your face is your superpower. And that power is a product of your inner self. It's a product of your inner function. It's a product of your inner self. the words you say to yourself, the things you do to yourself. Some of us, we don't like ourselves, but you are seeking validation and love from people. People will only treat you only about how you treat yourself. How do you go about treating yourself? Come on, it's time to look inward. It's time to look inward. Your superpower is within you. That's where your greatest motivation will come from. There's no preacher that will preach to you. There's no motivation that motivational talk that you would hear. It still comes from inside. Inside. Some of us, we need to do a detox today. What am I even carrying? What's inside of me? What am I hearing? What am I saying to myself? The Bible says faith cometh by hearing and hearing the word of God. What face is it going to be this year? What face? Weak face? Shock face? Long face? Game face? If you don't carry the right game face or the game face that you need, it will shock you. It will shock you. At the end of the year, you will see how many people would have gone past you. Because 2025 is the year of giants. Remember the story I told you about Goliath, the year of giants. It took a man that has been prepared, David. When he came, he said, he went to meet the king. He said, oh no, leave Goliath. He's a prepared man, I'm a prepared man. Right? It took him to go to the king and say, see, lion came, bear came, I destroyed them. I did not allow any of them to take my sheep. Me. Oh, Goliath don't prepare, but me self don't prepare. And finally, to remain or to have that strong game face, you need a spiritual help. You need spiritual motivation as well. Because things can happen. But when you have a backing, when God is at your back, the moment you feel depressed or the moment anything happens, there is a voice that carries you. And the energy comes from within. That voice will come from within as well and say, you can do it. Come on, move on. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. The word for the season will come to you. And that's why, again, like David, even though he was a prepared man like Goliath, it took spiritual effort to be able to bring down a prepared man. It should be game face this year. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you so much. I hope that we have learned one or two things this morning. I hope so. Thank you very much, Victor. Thank you very much, AY Bello. If we have questions, I would like to take them. Over to you, Akinwande Victor. Victor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was really a powerful session. At a point I was like, this message is actually really, timely and everything. That you might have gone through certain things doesn't mean that they should define you, regardless of background and everything. Thank you so much. So if you have questions, this is time for you to drop your questions. You can type them, and if you like to speak your questions, that is also welcomed. So do you have questions? This is a session that you should have questions. This is a session you should have questions. You should have questions in this session. So if you have questions, please let's type that. Let's type quickly. Nobody has signified yet.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mom. Thank you so much for this amazing and inspiring words that you just said. Like you said, it's very timely. I'd like to ask, is there a specific way if a game face should be, or are there different types of expressions of game faces at different aspects of our lives? Like, for example, maybe at a point in your life, your game face should be smiling so that you can be able to bring people closer. Like maybe you're at a point in your life where you want to build relationships, you want to have friendships, you want to have meaningful friendships. what should be your game face at that time? Would you be like smiling to people, or would you? I would. I don't know if I'm articulating this
I get
well.
your question.
Yeah,
I get your
and maybe
question.
at another, yeah. So at another point that probably what you want to achieve is you want to maybe build boundaries around you. You've allowed a lot of people, hurt you because you've not properly set boundaries. Like, for example, I used to be a people pleaser. Well, I thank God I'm healing out of it, and I'm coming out of it by the help of the Holy Spirit and self-help books. So if at that point when you're at that a point in life where you're like, okay, I want to build healthy boundaries. I want to let people know that I love them, and I would love them to love me back, but I can't control how they feel about me. But I also want to make sure that these healthy boundaries are set. What would be the game face for that? Will you be frowning?
Yeah, all right, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Now, when we talk about game face, right, we don't just mean facial expression alone, right? So, and when I started, I said for athletes, it could mean sportsmanship, having that competition spirit and all of that. And for business, you have to be professional, for relationship and all of that. Now, for friends, the Bible says that, I'm sure it's okay to share the Bible now. The Bible says he that would need friends will first of all be friendly. So that game face for that kind of situation is being friendly. And you don't have to, be all smiley and all of that. When you are courteous, when you are polite, you're not rude. Yes, that's a game face as well. Because, people that are polite, it shows in their face. People that are not rude, sometimes when somebody says sorry to you, and somebody says sorry, and somebody says I'm so sorry, it's different, but you can see it in their face. I'm like, but I said sorry now, and see your face. Is it the face that you'll be using to say sorry? That kind of thing. So now you can be friendly to people and not just sheepishly smiling up and down, right? Polite and all of that. So then for healthy boundaries, you can have healthy boundaries and not still be rude to people. So what we're saying is, for every situation, whether professional, relationship, friendship, all of those things, count the cost, like prepare. What will it cost to, achieve the best result in this instance? What would it cost to be friendly in this instance? What would it be to be to achieve this result in this instance? And then if you itemize it, you can begin to work in that regard. You can begin to work in that aspect. Do you get me? It's okay to have healthy boundaries and still be friendly. It's okay to have healthy boundary and, people don't take you for granted and you're not pleasing people too much. And people will still like, oh, I respect this babe. I love this babe and all of that. So game face is the emotion you carry that shows on your face, right? That's what we're talking about. I hope that answers your question. Any other question? Ejiro, I hope that was all right.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right. Do we have any other question? Please ask me question. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Ask questions this year. The people that ask questions, no, they miss road. All right.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So what do you do when you've like had like traumatic experience around certain, for example, let's say work, whereby you traumatic experience around work, like working with certain kind of people, and you begin to see that same pattern in people that you're working with. When you have had the traumatic experience, the next thing is a trauma response, whereby you don't like you are very cautious about the trauma repeating itself again, but you are beginning to see slight pattern. So my question is it, how do you know that, okay, this is a trauma response, or you're just exaggerating, or you're just assuming patterns. So that's my question. Because there are periods where, oh, maybe you have had a very terrible boss, and the next person you're working with, you're like, I don't know if this person is going to be a terrible boss. You understand what I mean? And maybe you just see a slight change, like something around character. I'd be like, this might
This
limit
thing, you
growth.
saw it in your former boss.
Yes, this might limit growth if you are just assuming that everybody's wicked. You're able to work with the right people.
Right. Yeah. So when there's trauma, there's always a trauma response. And that trauma response is what shows on your face, right? I made an example of asking for address, and you picked someone out of 4 people to ask them the address because you have scanned their faces. You have looked at them and say, oh, this one would be nice. Let me ask them. Now, when you don't deal with trauma, hurt, or pain, you would end up attracting it. So what we do, especially for workplace, is, my boss is this, I'm quitting the job. You quit the job and you get another one. You have not fully dealt with the effect the previous one had on you, right? So guess what? The fear that, this one may be wicked, this one may not be wicked, is a game face. I mean, is a face that you are carrying, because fear shows on the face. It shows on your face. And it's easy for the next person, if the person is also a predator, to also use you. And that's how patterns continue. And then you cannot assume patterns. You see it. They are readable. You see it. Oh, it happened here. It happened there. It happened there. You will see it. And the reason trauma or hurts keep happening is because you have not dealt with it. And they would only continue to happen until you have dealt with it. So when you left that job, did you say, were you conscious enough to acknowledge all the things that job did to you? Were you able to pin out all the toxic effects it had on you? Did you truly detoxify yourself of every effect that it had? All we just do is pack your CV, get into the next job. That's all we do. And the next boss, because he also wants to achieve his own results, because he wants to use you as well, we use you, and it's easy to pick on you. You will realize that in that same office, there are some people that they don't talk to like that. There are some people that they don't give them unnecessary work. You say, oh, but go and give it to Shola. They'll say, no, I'm not giving it to Shola. Not because Shola is lazy, but Shola just has this face that he does his job, and you cannot just, just come and misbehave near him. It is because he has laid out healthy boundaries. And then the coping mechanism you have now is that of fear, that of doubt, and that of, let me please this one. Oh, don't let me overdo. Don't let me this. Is a negative coping mechanism. And it's a defense from where you're coming from. So you need to, in total, one by one, deal with everything. Most of the time, we don't really talk to ourselves to say, how do you feel? Sometimes when people are talking to me, somebody shouted at them and all, I'm quick to say, how do you feel about that? Because I want to know the emotions that you are forming at that time. The moment you can grab that emotion, the moment you can take hold of it, you can deal with it. So somebody will say, no, when he spoke to me, I was really afraid. And I'm going to say, so how do you want to deal with that fear? But most of the time, we just let it slide. The Oga shouted, I was afraid, but thank God you no talk. Thank God you not do this. It's a defense mechanism. You did not deal with it. Thank God it didn't happen to me. Thank God this. You are thanking God, quite all right. But it happened to somebody, and is it good that it happened to somebody? No. But then you should be able to deal with that feeling instantly. If not, you will keep seeing the patterns everywhere. And so most of the time, it's not that your boss, the next boss is toxic. He was just trying to get his own job done. And you just feel like out of that fear that you're carrying from the other place, you just feel like, hey, he's here again, he's doing this again, and all of that. So you want to actually take stock, speak with people, people that can help you detoxify yourself, deal with that emotions, and move on. Move on. I hope that was fine. Michael, you're raising your hands.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the session. I have learned a lot actually. You did mention that one of the limiting factors of our game phase is lack of mental resilience, right? So my question is, how do we build mental resilience? Like, what is the best form to build mental resilience? Because most of the things that happen to us, maybe emotionally or even outwardly, it comes back as an emotional challenge, right? So we have to deal with it mentally. So what's the best form of building mental resilience?
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Mental resilience is just the capacity to withstand stress, issues, and all of that. So one of the ways to build that, number one, is your self-talks. Your self-talks. What do you say to yourself in the faces of challenges, right? Are they negative? Are they empowering? Do you have an empowering environment? So when I say environment, I'm talking about yourself. What do you say to yourself? Because that motivation, that resilience will come first from inside, right? So you, over time, you have already told yourself you are the best. No matter what comes your way, you are going to succeed and all of that. Yes. Number two is affirmations. What just like self-talks, right? But these ones are the words you constantly use to motivate yourself, to say to yourself. Number three is how to make sure your affirmations work. A number of times, some of us, we use, God is for me, I will be the head, I will not be the tail, I am the best, I am the equal, all of those things. But we do not have a plan as well for those self-affirmations. Affirmations does not work by themselves. You put stuff in place to make it work. If I say I am a happy person, so what am I putting in place to make sure that I am a happy person? So now I'm going to say that to be a happy person, I'm going to smile at people. I'm going to ask people, how do you do too? And all of that. There's a process for happy face. So by the time I do those things, I'm going to definitely have a happy face, right? Another one is that when we read a lot, read books on esteem, read books on capacity building, leadership, and all of that, it would expose you to things that you are not familiar with. It will help you draw the power from inside, so that when challenges come, instead of giving up easily, you are able to withstand it because you have read about it before. And then capacity comes from exposure. Capacity comes from exposure. What have you read about it? What have you learned? It is the things that you learned that you know how to do. For example, I learned to make hair. So now I have the capacity to make hair. Do you understand? So that's how mental resilience comes. That's how it is being built. It's a gradual process, but before you know it, you will get there. Before you know it, you will get there. And taking stock, learning about yourself, self-mastery. Self-mastery. What are the things you do best? What are the things you don't do? You're not copying another person. You're not doing another person's work. I'm good at reading, and that's where you stay. I'm good at, you're not competing with somebody that knows how to do public speaking, but you're a content writer and you're staying there, right? So all of this together help you to build resilience, that even when somebody comes to destroy your mental health, like they say, you are ready for it because you already know how to motivate yourself. Another one that I'm almost forgot is exercise. A lot of us do not do that. Exercise is important. Exercise. It can be as simple as dancing. Dancing, your bones, your nerves will relax. Your blood is well pumped. Everything is working fine. So when stress is even coming, you can carry it. Yeah, you are like, bring it on, because you are ready for it, right? And have an enabling environment. So now the environment I mean is friends that have the same kind of value that you want or you have. You cannot want to be the best or be the first in class and all of that, and you're sitting at the back. We all know that sometimes or most of the time, the people that sit at the back are the 9-11. They are the school 2. Because my own secondary school, we call them 9-11. They come to school by 9, they leave by 11. Right. So those are the ways you can actually build mental resilience. Thank you so much, Michael. So school 2, we call them school 2. 9-11. It is well. All right. Any other question? Thank you so very much. Thank you, Dr. A.Y. Bello. It was a privilege. It was an amazing time here. I love it. Thank you, Akiwande Victor. God bless you. So let us just say a word of prayer. I'm certain that 2025 is a year of the giants. I'm certain that it's a year for people who are ready. I'm certain that if you are ready to take it, it will come to you. So I just want us to, questions should be flowing by now. Yeah? Is question flowing in? Okay. So I'm certain that this year is the year for people that are ready. It's a year for people who are ready to take it. Like our father in the Lord, my own father in the Lord, that the GO has rightly said, is a remarkable year, the year of many firsts. You have not acquired anything. You have not bought a car before. You have not, done some things before. This is the year of many firsts. This is the year that you would do it. And the game plan for first is to carry that first phase, right? So I just want us to go to God in 1 minute. Just say, Lord, I commit 2025 into your hands. This year, I am ready. I am ready. I have the game plan. I have the game face. You see, all I need is for you to back me up. This year, just back me up. Back me up. Carry me this year. Just carry me in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' wonderful name, we've prayed. Amen and amen, amen and amen. Thank you all so much. God bless you. Will it be possible to get your slides? It's okay. I can share that, right? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful session ahead. God bless you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that mind-blowing session. I know it might be a lot like dropping on us, like but we should, like I said earlier, do you have a pen? Do you have pen and paper so you can document them? Because you are most likely, except maybe you have flashbacks, but you're most likely not going to remember if you document this thing. So this next section, we are going into a very transformative session. So I'll be reading the profile of the next speaker, and I want you guys to pay attention. So our next speaker is Dolapo Amusan, and Dolapo Amusan is a software product manager with over 8 years of experience across the e-commerce, retail, fintech space. He currently works as a product manager with Commerce Tools, a tech unicorn providing headless commerce solutions to best retailers across the world. He's passionate about functional and carefully thought out design and data-backed decision making. Despite not coming from a tech-based academic background, Dolapo has been privileged to manage software development teams both in and out of the African continent. He's the host of Velocity Podcast, where he discusses technology and people building products. He's married to, I hope I pronounce his name well, Kevin Chris Amusan. With a round of applause, let's welcome our speaker.
What did I do?
Sir, you are welcome to Game Face, and we know we are going to have a very awesome session with you.
Thank you very much, Victor. It's a profound pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thanks for the invite. Thank you very much to the convener and to all the speakers who have also spoken before me. Before I go on, can I make a request? Please, in 2026, if you are going to invite me back, if I'm privileged to be invited back. Please, you see, when you're arranging it, Mrs. Fentola Daniels, please just make sure she let us speak after, because the energy that she has brought, I don't know how I'm going to match that. God will give me grace to be able to match it. It's been wonderful listening to both Precious Adedeji, the first session, and also to her own session. It's been mind blowing. Yeah. You're trying to pronounce my wife's name. It's Kiva. I mean, I understand it's a very it's an unusual name. It's a very, very special name. So yeah. Hi everyone. I want this session, I would want to like really engage with us. So please just kindly put in the chat to let me know that you are here. Just what you can do, one word, you can do an emoji, you can do anything, but I wanted to just put something in the chat that says that you are here. All right, Precious says I'm here. Someone has started. Okay. Give me a second. Let's. All right. So I see Precious is here, David Aremo is here, Julius is here, Michael is here, Sholapo is here, Victor is here, Oyekomi Oluwakemi is here, Ejiro is here. All right, great. I'll go ahead and share my screen now. I really look forward to us having a wonderful discussion. Okay, so can you see my screen? Can you see what I'm projecting? This also lets me know. All right, good. So we can see it. Awesome. So I titled this Game Face, and I'm going to be focusing a lot on the very first 4 letters of what the theme for today is, and it's actually game. I mean, I blame the convener for choosing a word that I love so much. I mean, I love to game, right? Who here loves to game? Who here loves playing games? If you do, just let me know. Let me know in the chat. I know that's one of my first questions. Yeah. So what's your all-time favorite game? So let's start from there. What's your all-time favorite game? Let me know in the chat. And I'm going to be talking a lot about the concept of game, and how we're going to tie this to 2025. So I'm monitoring the chat. Okay, Ejiro says Mortal Kombat. That's interesting. Ejiro is a lady. Hey, all these fatalities with fatalities and mortality and everything. Nice. Okay. Oh, you come below. Akemi says chess. Nice. Ayorida Debele says Ludo. All right. Julia says Ludo. Michael says chess. All right. I want more. I want to hear more. Favorite all-time favorite game. I have Mortal Kombat, I have chess. I see bubble shooter. Now, finally, I see FIFA and PES, right? So that's on console. I'm also a console. I love console games quite a lot. I dare say I may be able to challenge anybody here. Okay, I don't know. Can you still hear me? My network seems to be blipping a little bit, but please let me know if you can hear me. All right, good. We can hear me. Awesome. I mean, I love console. Oh, Ejiro says Call of Duty. Okay, Ejiro, you Mortal Kombat, only you Call of Duty. That's very, very, very interesting. I love that. Right. So we've said a lot of games. I mean, personally, I like FIFA. I like FIFA 20, specifically FIFA 23. I don't really enjoy FC 24 and FC 25, and that's because of the way the gameplay has changed and all. Yeah. Now, in this session, when I say game, there are 3 things I want you to take your mind off of. Three things that people typically relate with games, right? So it's important I set that backdrop so that you will be able to enjoy everything that we're going to talk about. So first off is don't think of games as trivialities, right? There's that default thing for us to say, oh yeah, once you say game, oh yeah. It's just for fun. It's just casual stuff, right? So don't think of games as triviality. Next is don't think of game as manipulation, right? Because we hear terms like people are gaming the system, right? People are trying to play games with certain things. Don't think of it as that. And finally, I don't want you to think of games as win, lose. There's a concept in business which is game theory, which just tries to optimize. Game theory tries to optimize the outcome for everyone, and that's the whole basis of game theory. Someone doesn't have to lose for you to win. All right, it's possible for you to have a win-win-win situation with games. So when you think of games, three things. Don't think about things that are trivial. Don't think about manipulation, and don't think about win lose. Now, I will start here by saying I have observed that there are three crucial elements to every game. Three crucial elements to every game. And I promise you, at the end of this session, you're going to see how this ties into your 2025. I promise you. The first is the people, right? Next is the rules. And finally is the timing, right? Now, please, again, I really want this to be as engaging as possible. Can we just choose one of people, rules, and timing and put it in the chat, right? Because I want us to stay engaged throughout this session, and just so that I can constantly see that, yeah, you're getting me. So David says rules, good. Any more? Someone else just put people, you can just type in people, timing in the chat. I'm going to be requiring a lot of feedback from us as much as possible in this session. Okay, Victor Bituku says people. Great. Someone to just put timing. Just put timing in there. All right, good. Oluwakemi has said timing. Thank you very much. Understanding how these three things play together is what ensures whether you will have a successful game or a unsuccessful game. It's what determines whether you win the game or not, or whether you lose it, right? And when you look at any game, you should be able to tease out these three different components. Now, let's start. People. Questions like, who are the visible players, right, in the game? Also, who are the invisible stakeholders? Because sometimes there are people who are behind the scenes that are making things happen and you don't see them. And it's very easy for you to just overlook, oh yeah, this person, and I don't think this person is important, but they are critical to the game. Things like who makes the final decision. Things like who is dropping money, or that money that is being dropped, who is collecting it. Things like on your path in this game, who will get in your way, who will block you, and in fact, who will help you, right? These are all people elements to the game. Do we get that? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense to us so far? Let's just put yes in the chat, and yeah, great. Thank you very much. I see the thumbs up from Michael. Yeah, it does. Next is the rules. What are the spoken rules? And of course, what are the unspoken rules? Relating this to the people part about visible players and invisible players, there are spoken rules and there are actually unspoken rules for any game. Then there are some rules that you can actually bend them a little bit. They are not very strict, right? And we'll get into this. We'll get into a lot of examples on this. What are the if this, then that rules? Meaning there are things that happen that if once this happens, this is the next logical sequence that will take place. So it means that if you want this particular result, this is what you need to do. Because once you do this, You get that. All right. Also, there's, as far as the rules are concerned, there's a question of, is there an option for you to rewrite the rules in your favor? Is there an option for you? So the rule has been written. Everybody knows the rule. It may be spoken, it may be unspoken. But if you actually change the rules, nobody will bat an eyelid. All right, so we've talked about people, we've talked about rules, all right. And then finally, there's timing. Timing, like, when should you go? When should you not go? When should you wait? And then, is there a time limit for certain actions? So, people, timing, rules. All right, Ejiro, you put in the chat, you said not yet. Could you, I can take a pause here. Do you mean not yet in terms of you're not seeing how this comes together yet, or what exactly? Just want to get very quick feedback. Ejiro. Okay, understanding, not yet, understanding the concept of people. Okay, so understanding the concept of people here is about understanding who are the critical people that make a difference in the game, right? But of course, I'm sure we'll get into this, and I'm pretty sure you'll get it. So let me put this scenario out, and I'll read this out for us. And I want you to tell me what is wrong with this entire statement. I just bought this suya from a guy named Kunle at 8 a.m. this morning, and he delivered it in a takeaway pack for me. Now, everybody, please, put in your chat, what is wrong with this statement? As a Nigerian, you are a Nigerian. I just bought suya from a guy named Kunle, 8 a.m. this morning, and he delivered it in a takeaway pack for me. Yeah, Michael says 8 a.m. suya. So there's a problem with the timing, right? And why is that? Because you should not get suya at 8 a.m. Yeah, David Arabi says 8 a.m. Okay. Suya. Another one. Victor says suya inside takeaway. It's illegal to put suya inside takeaway. What's the right thing that suya should come in? Suya has to come in newspaper. In fact, if suya comes in magazine, you are suspicious. It has to be newspaper. Another one is saying Kunle is selling kuya. Why is Kunle selling suya? Kunle is a Yoruba name. How can Kunle be selling suya? Suya belongs to the Malam. It belongs to someone from the northern part of Nigeria. All right. So, suya for takeaway in the morning. It's Musa, exactly. It's not Kunle. Kunle is not the one that should be selling suya. Musa is the one that should be selling suya. Right. So, can you see how there's the interplay of people, the rules that, and thank you very much, Michael. They deliver suya. Like, how can you be delivering suya? The rule about suya is that you must go to the place. In fact, one of the rules is that you must climb gutter. Okay? Because if you don't climb gutter, it cannot be sweet suya. You climb gutter to go and buy the suya. And then when you get there, you collect tasting. Because how are they going to deliver tasting? Right? Does that make sense? I mean, so we get excuse me. We get the gist. You can see how in this statement, a lot people is wrong, rules are wrong, timing is wrong. And this would guide us in our conversation, talking about games and also looking towards 2025. So I've underlined here the things that are wrong here. Kunle is wrong there. It should be a Hausa name. The timing is wrong, and also the rules around which I got this suya. So, who here plays Candy Crush? In fact, I recently heard some crazy levels that people have reached in Candy Crush. So please let me know if you play Candy Crush, what level have you gotten to in Candy Crush? What's the highest level you've gotten to? Anybody? Or nobody here plays Candy Crush? Oh yeah, Ejiro says Asun is what Kunle should be doing. 57. 57. Okay, Michael. Ejiro has gotten to like 200. All right. Let me see what the highest I might find here. I mean, I know people who have gotten to level of like 1,000. Yeah. So I see Ejiro says her brother has gotten to like 4,000, level 4,000, right? 240 for Oluwakemi. At some point I was playing, but I stopped a very, very long time ago. And I kind of picked it back up. So I think I'm probably like maybe level 40 or so, because I just picked it back up. But yeah, people get to like very, very high levels. Now, when you look at Candy Crush, you can bring out the people, the rules, and the timing concept, right? People, for example, there's the time that Candy Crush will say, can we? Okay, let me put it out. Also, at this point, I actually don't mind if people can unmute and be able to speak. If that is okay. I want this to be as interactive as we can. If anybody wants to speak, you can just if anybody wants to engage with this Candy Crush topic, so you can just, or maybe Ejiro. I think I don't, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, is that okay, Ejiro?
Okay, sir.
All right, great. So thank you very much for coming, for joining me on this. So Candy Crush, what would you say are the people elements of Candy Crush? The people, the rules, the timing.
Okay, for the people, first, the people that created the game.
Nice, the people that created the game. Okay, you play the game, right?
Yeah. Put them
Rules.
under people.
Okay, rules and timing.
The rules are the instructions given for each level. So sometimes you have like just 50 moves. 50 moves to achieve that, to maybe get all grains, like 500 grains, to like bust up 500 grains, and things like that. So that could be an example of rules. Then timing.
Rules, yes.
Timing. Okay.
I can help you. I can help you with timing. Some levels are timed. Some levels you only have a 15 move limit. You can play it for. It's okay. You can do it in 30 minutes if you want. But some levels you have to get everything done in 90 seconds. It doesn't matter how many moves that you make. It's timed, right? So thank you very much for that. Can we put hands together for Ejiro, please? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for that. Yeah, you're welcome. So that's Candy Crush. And now the next one is I have the English Premier League. So who wants to offer to talk about the people, rules, and timing of the English Premier League? Let me look for someone had mentioned FIFA. So that's Victor Bitiko. So Victor, is it okay if I invite you and we talk about the people, the rules, and timing of the English Premier League? Victor, if you can unmute. All right.
Okay,
awesome.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Thank you for the privilege, sir. The people involved, the people in this game are, number one, I'll first start from the director of the league.
Absolutely, the head of the league.
Yes, then the owners of the clubs, the players, and the people that are watching the games, either physically or through TV. While the rules involve the rules governing football generally, rules concerning their health, either use of doping substances, and also the rules on transfers. So those are, and the timing, the 45 minutes for each half, 90 minutes, and either additional time. So those are the timing.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Victor. That's perfect. And in fact, also to add to timing is the fact is when transfers can be done. The transfer window opens at a particular day, it closes at a particular day, you get, and then if you don't get a business done within that period, it's gone. Now, one more. Chess. Anybody wants to offer? I think I saw two people. Yeah, I think I had Michael who said chess and Oluwakemi. So Michael, Oluwakemi, any one of you wants to talk a little bit about people, roles, and timing in chess? Let me ask Oluwakemi if you can mute. If you're in a place safe enough to unmute and talk. Let me try Michael.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Can you hear me?
All right, yeah, Michael. Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, for chess, the people are the creators of the game first, and the
Okay.
players, and maybe the observers, and then the rules. For chess, we have specific moves you can make with different pieces, the pawns, the
Yes.
knight, the castle, and the timing. It depends on the rule of the game, actually. If you're playing a 10-minute game, sometimes we have a free time to make decisions and others. So that's what
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much. So we've seen Candy Crush, we've seen the English Premier League, we've seen chess. We really, really understand this concept of people, rules, and timing. And this is very important for us going forward. And that's because it's easy to look at things on the surface, but when you go deeper, you realize that even at deeper levels, there's people, rules, and timing involved. So let me go deeper into these three games that we've just analyzed: Candy Crush, the English Premier League, and chess, right? And you'll understand why you need to focus on this concept of the game. For Candy Crush, this figure that you see on the screen, $1.3 billion, is the revenue that all the Candy Crush games made. In fact, there's not just one Candy Crush game. It's possible we all only know one, which is Candy Crush Saga. That's the most popular one. But there's Candy Crush Saga, there's Candy Crush Soda, there's Candy Crush Jelly, and there's Candy Crush Friends. There are 4 games in the Candy Crush universe, if you can call it that. And these 4 games combined made $1.3 billion in revenue in the year 2024. Now, I'm glad when we were talking about the people for Candy Crush, it was mentioned that the people who made the game. So you see, you open Candy Crush and you're like, oh yeah, I'm crushing bubbles, I'm crushing this and that. Someone somewhere is sitting down and saying, how do we increase our revenue from 1.3 billion in 2024? How do we double it to $2.6 billion in this year? I know this figure is it's mind-blowing. It can almost make you want to stop playing Candy Crush. Now, by the way, you know that Candy Crush has this thing where if you run out of lives, if you run out of moves, they'll tell you, just pay 200 naira and we'll give you extra life, or pay 200 naira, we'll give you 5 extra moves so that you can complete this level. You see how that game has been so monetized? So for you are playing a game, you're having fun, and possibly you'll get stuck at some point and you're like, let me just pay this 200 naira so that I finish this level. It's very important for me to finish this level. That your 200 naira is what has compounded to Candy Crush making $1.3 billion in 2024 in terms of revenue. Now, I know there's been this discourse recently on social media that Nigerians we struggle with understanding the scale of numbers and also the scale of money, right? So let me give you very good context. The orange line you see on this chart is the revenue that Candy Crush made in 2024. And I have brought out the revenues that these are the top 6 revenue generating states in the whole of Nigeria that they make. Candy Crush as a game made more revenue than the whole of Lagos State. Allow that to sink in. Lagos State is the #1 revenue generating state in Nigeria. Candy Crush in 2024 made more money than Lagos State, the Lagos State government. And if you look at this list, if you combine Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Ogun, and Bayelsa states together, they still did not make enough revenue as much as Candy Crush. So when you see Candy Crush the game, remember there's Candy Crush the business game underneath. There are people, there are rules, and there are timings under that. All right? Are we all still with me? Please, I want to see in the chat that you are all still here. All right? Or are people going to go and delete their Candy Crush app? All right, we're still here. Great. Now, let's move on to the next one. This graphics you're seeing is the distribution of shirt sponsorships in the Premier League. We've talked about the Premier League, and I'm also glad that the person who talked about the people element in the Premier League talked about the owners of the club, right? Because it's actually very easy for us to forget that. I'm an Arsenal fan. It's very easy for us to be like, why is Arsenal not buying anybody? Excuse me. And forget that Arsenal has a CEO. Arsenal has a board of directors who make financial decisions, right? We see 11 men come on a field to kick the game of a ball around for 90 minutes. But the CEO of Arsenal Football Club, sees the business game of how the Arsenal brand keeps growing and growing in different countries. 2 different games. And this graphics here talks about how that this shirt sponsorship, which is the name, whenever you see a jersey, the name that is right in the middle in front of the shirt. So, usually in front of the shirt, sometimes on the side, sometimes at the back, right? Sponsorship, excuse me. One thing that the Premier League has seen so far, yes, Spotify is the sponsor for Barcelona Football Club. One thing that the Premier League has seen so far is the rise of gambling sites for shirt sponsorship. And why do companies come and sponsor shirts? Because they know in Africa alone, 250 million people watch the Premier League. Africa alone. I got that figure from DSTV's annual report, I think at the end of 2024. 250 million people. Here's the thing. They know if they put their name on the chest, 250 million Africans are going to see this name. And they'll be able to easily sell and market and distribute to them. Because Fly Emirates is written on the chest of Arsenal, and at some point it's currently on the chest of Real Madrid. It was on the shirt for Chelsea, for quite a number of clubs. Because Fly Emirates is there, when I am about to buy a flight ticket and I see Fly Emirates and I see Lufthansa, I'm like, Lufthansa? What's that? No, I know this Fly Emirates. These are the guys who sponsor Arsenal. Yeah. I'll buy tickets from them. That's how it works. But you can see how the gambling sites have cashed in on that sponsorship. And they're using that to get in your face. So you are seeing 11 men run about the field. You are seeing the game of 11 men running about the field. But the gambling sites are playing the game of, we want you to gamble. And if you wonder if you wonder why gambling is such a scourge, gambling is a scourge because they promise the people who gamble that they're going to win, but at the end of the day, the house is what wins. It's the house that wins. The players in gambling don't win. The house wins, right? The only way to become rich gambling is to own a gambling house. It's not to gamble, right? But that's when I hear for that. So I'm trying to let you see there's a game, English Premier League. There's a game underneath, right? Are you still with me? Finally, on this, on making things deeper, let's do a very quick quiz. If you Google the word Tunde in Nigeria as a Nigerian, who do you think are the 5 top most popular Tundes in Nigeria? I want to see that in the chat. The top 5 most popular Tunde in Nigeria. I'll give you a hint. 4 of them alive, 1 not alive. What do we think in the chat show? Tunde Ednut, thank you very much. Yes, Tunde Ednut is actually number 1. Tunde Ednut is the number 1 Tunde as far as Google is concerned. Yes. Can we take a swipe at the remaining 4 most popular Tundes? Tunde Onokoya, thank you, Tunde Onokoya. Tunde Adisa. Oh, don't know who that is. I'm not sure who that is, but he's not on my list. But Tunde Onokoya is on my list. Let me give another 30 seconds. Let's see if any other names come in the charts. If there are any other Tundes that we think. Tunde Diagbon, thank you very much. That's the one person who is not alive. Tunde Bakari, perfect. Do we have it all? I think we probably do. Tunde Jegede. Yeah, so Tunde Kelani. Tunde Kelani is the final name I have on the list. That's the filmmaker. I hope a lot of us know Tunde Kelani, the filmmaker. So those are the 5 top Tundes as far as Google is concerned in Nigeria, right? Tunde Ednut, Tunde Bakare, Tunde Onokoya, Tunde Kelani, and Tunde Idiagbon. And of course, I want to talk about Tunde Onokoya. We've talked about the rules of chess, right? But Tunde Onokoya saw chess as something else. He saw chess as an opportunity to project himself to the world, to project Nigeria to the world. So you might be playing chess and you're moving the pawns and you're moving the bishops and the knights, but Tunde is playing chess and is like, how does chess become a tool to liberate children from the poverty that they've been born into, right? So we're talking about the visible game and the invisible game, right? We've looked at Candy Crush, we've looked at the English Premier League, we've looked at chess. So I hope we get, please, in the chat, I want to let me know, do you get how that there is the surface, superficial game, and there's always a deeper game for everything? Does that make sense to us? Yeah, so today he had the record of the longest marathon chess player. Yes, he got the world record last year in New York, in New York City. Awesome. Ejiro says yes. Good. I'm glad we're still here. Now, so the question now is, Dolapo, what does this have to do with me? What's my business with Candy Crush? What's my business with English Premier League? What's my business with chess? Let's quickly check the Bible. And I like the story of Ruth and Naomi in the Bible, right? We know Naomi had two children, two sons. Those sons had wives, right? Both sons passed away. Naomi was left with 2 daughter-in-laws who could have gone their way, go marry, but decided to stay, right? Ruth was the daughter-in-law who decided to stay. And you see, Ruth 3:1-18 is a very, very, very powerful depiction of this concept of understanding people, understanding rules, and understanding timing, right? And I encourage you to go and read Ruth 3:1-18 and try to see the interplay of people, rules, and timing. in this verse in this chapter of the scripture, Naomi told Ruth, so Ruth, this is what you will do. I have noticed that Boaz is at his harvest. So there was a timing issue. There was a timing for harvest. And Naomi understood that this is what happens in when there's harvest, is that the men are likely to be in a very relaxed mode, right? And because Naomi understood the rules and the modus operandi around harvest time for the Israelites, okay? She understood the right instructions to give Ruth. In fact, she told Ruth, you will first stay here. I would have loved to go and take that chapter verse by verse, but it's so beautiful in terms of timing. She said things like, you will hide until he has finished eating and drinking. That is when you will now go and you will do something specific. You will uncover his legs, right? Then she also added that after everything that happens, make sure you leave that place before other people come, maybe the next morning, because timing was important. It meant that if Ruth lingered too long in her conversations and dealings with Boaz, other people would have seen her. Maybe gist would have gone around, and something that was supposed to be beautiful would have been scattered because timing was gotten wrong. I encourage you, please, Ruth 3, 1-18. Read it with that mindset of people, rules, and timing. But here's what I'm here to talk about. Let's move into life. You are a university student. There is those same criteria apply to you. People, rules, and timing. And also the concept of seeing the superficial game and understanding the deeper game. The superficial game might, for example, of being a university student, might be, go and make sure you get a first class as you come out, right? The deeper game, and I say this without reservations. Let me say a little bit of my academic pedigree, so that you're not thinking someone that I think to an extent I'm a little qualified to talk about this, right? I finished some secondary school at the age of 14. I got into the university at the age of 15, right? Got in immediately, no delays. I graduated as a medical doctor at the age of 21. That's impressive. But today, I no longer practice medicine. I have not practiced medicine since 2016. That makes it 9 years since I left the practice. I don't practice anymore. So you'll agree with me if someone can say you don't need to come out with the first class. I think to an extent I didn't come out with the first class, and that's because medicine we don't have first class in medicine. But I pretty much did well academically, right? So here's what I'm about to say. There is go to school and get a first class. But there is the bigger picture of you being able to say, do I really absolutely need a first class? And here's the reason why. I know I might step on toes here. The reason is, what if a second class lower or a second class upper plus you actively participating in certain societies, in certain activities in school, is the right combination that you need to get out there and do the things that God wants you to do? What if? So I'm not saying if you're on a first class path, you should get off it. If you're on a first class path, please go ahead. If you're not on a first class path, I'm saying don't necessarily kill yourself. All right? I'm very careful. And I know I have to be very, in Nigeria, there's some things that you have to be very careful to say, right? So you need to ask yourself rules. And of course, I remember I mentioned about rules here. What are the rules that you can rewrite in your favor? Because not every rule is really, really, really that strict. I mean, there are rules that are strict. As a university student, you should not be caught. You should not be cheating in an exam situation. You should not be caught cheating in an exam situation. There are certain rules you can't bend. But there are some rules around how you spend your time, you can adjust that, knowing fully well that this is the game that you're playing. I would say, and I don't know how many people will agree with me for this, as far as a university education is concerned in Nigeria, the most important thing really is just coming out with a degree. I stand corrected, but that's my own theory, right? Again, not to promote what's the word? Not being diligent with your academics. It's about being able to see the bigger picture and see the bigger game, right? Operating a business. So if you're a business person in 2025, you need to understand the people part, the rules part, and the timing part. I was listening to the first speaker, and he and I kind of tagged that session as a for an outlook of what the next 5 years, what the next 10 years will look like, and how you should position yourself right now. As a business person, that's something you should be asking yourself. If you're running a business that AI is going to cut the legs out of it in the next 2 years, now is the time to redirect. All right? If you have a 9-to-5 job, or you are about to get into a corporate job, you need to also understand people, rules, and timing, right? You don't understand the rules of work. And when Mrs. Faintola was answering Michael's question, right? She mentioned read books, and that cannot be emphasized enough. If there's 2 things that I want you to get from this session is, first, the people, rules, and timing concept, and second is that you have to read. And that's one reason why I have my library. I have my library over here. I can pan so you can see it over there, right? That's half of it. There's another half in a different room. I brought out some books that I think have been really pivotal to me. So, for example, specifically for people who are in 9-to-5s, right? I highly recommend this book. It's titled The Rules of Work. The Rules of Work. It's written by Richard Templar. You see this book. In fact, the very first page, or the very first one of the very first part of the book actually says that you should not tell people that you read this book. That's how good this book is. You should read the book. You should keep quiet about the book. Then you should practice what the book says, and then you see the results. Right? Has anybody ever heard about, or has anybody ever read it? Please, in the chat, you can let me know. The Rules of Work by Richard Templar. This chat is not buzzing. I'm not hearing. Hello, can we still hear me? I hope I'm not. I hope I'm okay. Okay, I believe I'm audible. All right. No, where can I get the book? You can most likely any bookshop around you, or any person who sells books, you will be able to get it. It's a very popular book, right? So, and I mean, the worst case is go on Google. I typed it. This is what it looks like. It's black, right? And just says The Rules of Work. Go on Google, get a picture of the book, download it on your phone. Then when you find someone who is selling books, just open the picture and show it to them that I want this book, The Rules of Work, right? The guy, he has also written a lot of other ones. I think he has passed, right? He's no longer alive. He wrote a lot of other books. Rules of Management. I have that here. Rules of Management. If you're a people manager, you're leading a team under you. Rules of Management. Really great. I always recommend, when I recommend this, I always recommend that people start with the rules of the rules of work. Read the Rules of Work, because it's like the most I feel like it's the most encompassing of it. He wrote other ones, right? But the Rules of Work is the one I stand by solidly. So you have to understand what the rules of the workplace is. There's workplace politics. It's a real thing. I remember when I was doing my MBA program in Lagos Business School, workplace politics was probably a three-hour class for us, because we needed to understand people. And I mean, Ms. Fentola mentioned this. You need to understand when you get into a work environment, you must understand how things work at work. You must understand the people that you can criticize publicly and the people you can criticize private, that you must do it privately. There are people that they seem like, oh yeah, they don't have any power, but they have the ear of the boss. Understanding the rules will ensure that you sit back, you observe the game, and you understand how to position yourself. All right? Being a creative. Now, because I understand not all of us are necessarily at the place where we're starting a business or we have a 9-to-5. We are creatives. We want to express our creativity through music, through art, through writing, through whatever it is. You also need to understand what the people, rules, and timing of the creative industry is. For example, the timing for, I think timing plays such a big role for creatives, and people who don't understand it lose out, because your work of art would most likely only align with a particular, there's going to be a particular season or something that is happening in the economy or a particular mindset that people have, and your creative work just speaks to them at that particular point. And the moment you speak to them, you just become the name on their lips, and then you realize that that's what leads to people blowing, right? So understanding that who are the people in the industry, right? Who are the people I need to look out for? Who are the people that I need to be aware of? What are the rules of creativity? I mean, for creatives, it's a little the rules tend to be a little less strict, because it's all about creativity, right? It's expression. There is no defined way of doing music. You can simply do music your own way. You can do art your own way. And just being aware of all this is very important. In fact, being aware that the rules are lax is also part of you understanding how the industry works, because what that means is you are constantly rewriting the rules in your own creative space. All right? So the big question as I round up is, so what games are you playing in 2025? Do you understand the superficial parts? Do you understand the deeper level? Ecclesiastes 10:15 says, fools they wear themselves out with hard work because they don't know the way to the town. Because they don't know the way to town, right? And the way here is a combination of understanding the people that will get them into town, understanding the rules of how to enter the town, and understanding the right time to enter the town. There are towns that you don't enter after 9 p.m. You should enter during the day. If you enter at night, they'll be suspicious of you, right? So, reminder again, people, rules, and timing for games. And in conclusion, today is the 1st of February. You still have 92% of the year to go. 92% of the year is still ahead of you. It's enough time for you to sit down and say, what games am I playing? What games are being played on me, right? And how do I position myself appropriately? How do I get connected with the right people in that industry? How do I understand the right rules? And how do I position myself for timing? To add something to what Precious had mentioned at the start, he had mentioned different areas: data, AI, specifically cybersecurity. I work in tech, and I don't work how do I say this? I see, especially for ladies, yeah, and probably speaking to the ladies. Ladies in two specific roles are going to be a hot cake. It's cybersecurity and back-end engineering, right? There's so few ladies in those roles, that if you commit the next, if you're tech inclined, all right, if you are interested in tech and you commit the next 18 months to learning as much as you can, the sky is just the starting place, right? So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. I'll go ahead and stop sharing now. And I can take questions now. Okay, Michael has his hand up.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful section. It's amazing. First, I am not going directly to the topic. I am really interested in the remaining books. You gave us just two. I need to know like a few more that you can recommend.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for that. So I recommended Rules of Work. I also have Rules of Management. There's Rules of Life. I probably would recommend this so much also because, I mean, whenever you're reading someone, and how do I say this? It's always important to understand people's context, right? To an extent, I feel like this guy has a very great handle on work. I don't subscribe too much to his handle on life, right? Because, I mean, I'm a Christian, right? There are things I would listen, there are times I would listen to people when they talk about work, when they talk about tech, right? Because I'm yeah. But when you start talking about life, I'm like, the Bible is a more complete what's the word now? A more complete compendium for me, right? So also, yes, I had this because Precious had mentioned learn about money, and this book, The Psychology of Money, very important book. I worked in a fintech, right, Cowrywise, for roughly a year, and you know how you know a place that is investing in you. At Cowrywise, they bought this book. We're about, at the time where I worked at Cowrywise, we're about 50, 60 employees. The CEO bought one copy of this book for every single person in the team, because we needed to understand psychology of money in order to build the right money products. And if you ever wonder why Cowrywise, for example, has wonderful product delivery, it's because there is a very fundamental understanding. So this book, Psychology of Money, I totally recommend it. If you read this book, you will never keep up with the Joneses, right? You will never say, my neighbor bought something, therefore I'll buy it. No. You understand how money works. Yeah. So and then maybe one more. And this is because I work in tech, right? So I work as a product manager, and I work with engineers. So I work with front-end engineers, I work with back-end engineers. I had to get this book. So the title is Coders, Who They Are, What They Think, and How They Are Changing Our World. I had to get this because I needed to understand the rules of how are my software engineers that I'm working with day to day, how are they thinking? So this guided me. This made my relationship with my engineers, it took it to another level because I understood how they think, and this made me a great product manager. So yeah, if I can recommend one more, again, this is one of this is going to be an unpopular opinion, right? For the ladies, it's Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. You can come for me, but I'm happy to have a conversation with you after you've read this book. Yeah, so that's it, Michael. Thank you very much for your questions.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Now for the topic itself, I think we talked more on the people factor, the timing, and the rules, right? In games we play. And I think we all have a broader understanding of that. But then I also realized that we are not just about to play the game of life. We might also be in people's games, right? We are inside people's games, and they might be playing us. So how do we manage ourselves, around people that are playing us instead of the ones that we are playing?
Yeah, so thank you. So that's fantastic, right? just as you are in a game, there are other people who are also playing games. And sometimes, right, I believe I'm speaking to a community of people who you're committed to developing yourself the ethical way, right? And that's why you are in a place like this. That's why you're here to listen to what we're talking about, right? It also means that you need to be aware that there are other people who are playing a game of manipulation, basically. I talked about office politics, for example. What that means is, whilst I am aware, let me say it this way. I must be aware of the games other people play, not because I want to play it, but so that when they try to play it on me, I'm like, I've seen that before. I know where you got that particular move from. I will not allow you use your gameplay to derail me. I will use the knowledge to protect myself, to position myself that I'm not at a disadvantage, right? So, for example, there's this book, The 48 Laws of Power, right? I recommend you read the book, not because you necessarily should use what the book says, but because you're going to be dealing with people who will be using what the book says. Does that make sense? So yes, you need to be aware of the games that people play. Thank you very much, Michael. Any other questions? If there are none, I guess I can hand over back to Victor Akinwande. Thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate that. And of course, I look forward to us understanding and coming out on top at the end of 2025.
Can you hear me? Thank you so much
Yes, I
for
hear
that
you.
wonderful session. So Victor has a question, not my Victor, another Victor. So we let him.
Oh, Victor, yeah, Victor Bituku. Yes, I see that now. I see that now. Yes, Victor, go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So I have a question, like regarding the people, rules, and timing in the area of life, basically. How do we deal with these supposed rules now? Because if we're looking at dealing with people now, we'll meet different kinds of people who would say this is how they do get things done, and you are coming with your own point of view. Like, how will you get to understand people and without necessarily like causing, like offending them or making them, feel as though they don't matter? Especially when you are trying to let them know that this is how you are. Like, for example, now in the area of values and the way you feel life's supposed to be.
Okay. Let me try my best to answer this. And here's again. I'm going to answer this from my own personal perspective. I hope it's going to give you enough insight to deduce the answer for your own perspective. So, as far as people are concerned, I have a very interesting theory. I call it interesting because I find that a lot of people don't necessarily subscribe to it, right? But personally, it gets me through. I focus my energy on people who I feel I have influence over, right? The moment I feel like you're outside of my sphere of influence, you can be doing all the nonsense that you want to do in this world. I will be looking at you, right? And let me explain. For example, I have 3 siblings, right? My wife has 2 siblings. 2 of my siblings are married, so that's one brother-in-law, one sister-in-law there. When I think of my family, I have this community that I'm like, okay, these are my people, my sibling, my wife's sibling, my brother, sister-in-law, their own relatives. I kind of put them in that community, right? So I'm committed to constantly telling them, oh, this is how I do things. This is what I think you should do. I'm advising you. However, any other adults outside of that sphere, I don't stress myself. Here's what I do. I try to understand, Dolapo, where are you going? This is your goal. Your goal is to earn this amount of money per year. Your goal is to build this business up to this particular revenue. Your goal is to have this type of life. Your goal is this. Focus on it. Focus on your game, right? Make sure your family is taken care of. And by family, I mean everybody I just listed there. Make sure that what you are learning, you are telling them. Every other person, and the reason why I have this is because once people are adults, they are kind of set in their ways. Like, if we're being honest with ourselves, adults are set in their ways. It takes a humble adult to go out there and say, I am seeking knowledge. I want to know how to let go of my current beliefs, my belief system that my background has imprinted in me, letting go of that and taking something new, right? So if you are in a situation where if I was in a situation where I feel like I'm trying to communicate this thing, and one way you communicate stuff to people is also by getting results. So if I make sure that my system gets results. When my way of doing things, my rules, when it gets results, naturally, people will come and ask you, how you do it? My anchor scripture is Zechariah 8:23 for my life. Zechariah 8:23. And let me put that. Zechariah 8:23. I particularly like the NLT version. It says, in those days, 10 men from 10 different nations, 10 different tongues, 10 different tribes will hold on to the sleeve of a Jew and ask him, take us to your God. All right? That's what Zechariah 8:23 says. The only reason why 10 men from 10 different nations, meaning it's not I'm Yoruba, it's not just Yoruba people that are coming to come and meet you. Do you know what result you have to get for Nigerians to agree that, Boboye, only results? For the French people to say, yes, we, he has results. The Spanish agree. The Germans agree. The Italians agree. The Chinese, they agree. Once you get results with your system, so sometimes you don't necessarily need to be focused on changing people's minds. Understand the rules. Apply it to yourself first. Get the results. Nobody will tell them that they should come and meet you to ask you, how is it being done? I hope that kind of answers the question, Victor. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, sir. So my background might be noisy because I'm trying to move from the spot I am to. Right? But I hope you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank God you can hear me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. I want to say something. I want to ask you a question. For somebody breaking into like you said, we're from non-tech academic background, and they're able to like get into tech. For somebody who's trying to get tech for the first time, what are the basic steps you recommend? I know you recommend it for tech, but some are not quite realistic. So I like to, but somebody with experience, I like to with the point of You get my
Okay.
question?
Yeah, I think I got a question. And the question, if I can summarize it, is how do you get into tech from a non-tech background? Is that it?
Yes, that's good.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you very much. Yes, so I by the grace and mercies of God, I was able to do that, right? I studied medicine. I finished medicine in 2012. Graduated. I practiced clinically for like 4 years till 2016, and then I abandoned the stethoscope and moved into tech. However, my journey into tech started way earlier in 2006, my second year of medical school, when I had picked up, and I would say I'd picked up volunteering, right? I mean, I was very actively volunteering. I mean, it's also one of the things, one of the ways I'd gotten to meet Dab, which was we were simply ready to do everything for God, right? So I joined my fellowship then. We had one small publication we're doing, and of course, I mean, I call it small today, but God has that uncanny habit of using the small things to establish you, right? And it was a magazine that we printed on. I remember we used to print it on 4 A4s. So the magazine was take 4 A4s, fold it into 2. That was it. So 60 page, right? And then we'll do what will be typesetting on Word. And for some reason, I just enjoyed doing that, right? And that's where my tech started from. From typesetting that magazine in Word, Microsoft Word, right? I moved on to picking up CorelDRAW. And throughout my university years, I picked up CorelDRAW. I used to design posters. I used to design flyers. I was designing flyers a lot in school as a medical student, right? And I mean, let me bring in the whole rules thing here again. I guess one of the privileges that God had given me was not necessarily to chase best graduating students, because it wasn't necessarily the path for me, right? So I was able to at least maintain my academic records as a medical student and still do a lot of these tech things by the side. I did it so well that by the time I was graduating, my final year, when we're designing our final year logo, I was the one that designed the logo for the class. When you'd know that when doctors graduate, you normally print jotters, congratulations on your induction, courtesy dad and mom. I designed that jotter, designed and printed. A friend had a printing press, designed and printed jotters for about a third of my graduate class. I designed that for them, right? So that shows you that at that point, I had really gotten it to a commercial level in that sense. When I finished, I did a bit of marketing, understood branding a little bit, and then finally I moved into product management. So I don't write code, but in my work, I deal with people who write code. I deal with the business side of coding, if I can call it like that. That's called product management. So the thing about product management specifically, and it's easy for me to talk about product management, is that it's a part of tech that has very transferable skills. So if you have skills like you can write, there's a place for you in product management. If design, for example, is what you can do, there's a place for you in tech. That's product designing, right? So the people who arrange what the app looks like. Right now, everybody is currently on Zoom, right? Someone imagined how every element you're seeing on your phone or your laptop looks. That is product designing, right? There's a reason why all the colors are the way they are, and everything is doing something. So product designing. So if you're writing, for example, there's copywriting. So there's copywriting also in tech, right? There's quite a number of transferable skills like that don't even get you into the technical aspect. The technical aspect here being actually writing code, right? So before we get to you are an engineer, you are a developer, a software developer, there's quite a lot of non-technical roles within the tech space. So for me, that was my journey. I'll say for anyone, find out what your transferable skills, what's that skill that you have today that is somehow needed in the tech space, and find a way to get into that. So that's what I would advise. If you feel like getting into tech is what you need to, again, I have to mention, not everybody necessarily needs to get into tech. Yeah. Cybersecurity. Okay, yeah. So Oyèkánmi Olúwakẹ́mi says cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is definitely a technical part of the tech pipeline, right? So that one would definitely need a lot more technical knowledge, right? So you probably need to find a place where you can intern, where someone who is already skilled in cybersecurity would be able to walk you through. There's quite a number of them. Off the top of my head, I know Utiva and Udacity and AltSchool. So off the top of my head, I think I know these three. You can check. You can always check for more of them. So just look for, and you have to be willing to say, I'm committing 6 months, I'm committing 9 months to only learning and earning nothing. You're not earning any money from it. You need to commit to that learning part. You need to understand the rules. You need to understand how things work there. You need to understand the technical terms, right? And give yourself time. So yes, that's it. I hope that answers your question, Victor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That answers the question. I'm also someone who into branding. Like your experience, I designed my class logo, did the yearbook, did all the designs. So I have like similar experience.
Great. So in this scenario, product marketing is something you should definitely look into, because after we've built the product, someone needs to get it out there and say, hello, we've built something wonderful here. So product marketing is definitely something you can look into. Product marketing is a step away from brand marketing. You probably are more into brand marketing. And here's the thing, I was into brand marketing initially. It was brand marketing that kind of brought me here. I think there was a pivotal point in my life where I was going to do a course with Orange Academy. And I'm pretty sure if I did that course, I would have gone, that was a crossroad for me. Because if I'd done the course with Orange Academy, I'll have definitely gone in the brand marketing approach, advertising, billboard, digital advertising, filmmaking, which is making of short ads and all. I may have gone in that direction. I still kind of have that in me, but currently I'm in tech, and that's where my daily bread is coming from. Back to you, Victor.
Thank you so much for that awesome session.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate our speakers. I don't know if anybody has any more questions, but if you have questions, you can always send your questions here, or you can send us a message on Instagram. You can send us a message anywhere. You can just our social media platforms. You can even send us. We'll always connect with you. Big Conference is the community and She Conference is the community that is passionate about Big Conference is passionate about the male gender, making sure you're a productive person, and making sure you're fulfilling purpose, same as She Conference. She Conference is the female arm of Big Conference. So I like us to, you can follow us if you have not been following us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We are across all social media platforms. You should sure give us a follow. Give us a follow on all social media platforms. And I want us to appreciate our speakers. Mr. Dolapo, I don't know, because I look for you on Instagram. My profile is there, but you're on LinkedIn. So we could also like connect with our speakers. Because I saw your LinkedIn, so you connect to our speakers in order to get more
more insight on who they are and also connect with them across our platforms. Who knows, you might be able to even ask your questions there. So before we go on we are getting to the end of the whole conversation. Yeah, okay, so you guys, you can connect. So you can connect with our speakers. I'd like to say that let's connect on this platform. If you have a business page, a social media account, preferably Instagram or Twitter, you can drop it here so we can connect and also follow you and also get to see the amazing work you are doing. So you can drop your Instagram handle so you can connect with everyone here. We have unique gifts. We have different we don't, you don't know if you might be like really instrumental to the growth of somebody else. So you can connect with we can connect ourselves here. So let's connect. You can drop your Instagram account so that you can connect with everybody. So as we come to the end of the game phase, so please drop your Instagram account. Let's connect so that we can meet each other. We are moving what we are doing. We have our people. You can also as well connect with our speaker on LinkedIn. It's not on Instagram. They can connect. So let's keep it funny. That since someone does your Instagram, you can drop your Instagram, your Twitter account, even your LinkedIn profile. Let people connect with you, and also build a strong community through this conference and C conference. So I don't know if it's complete. I don't think it's completely simple. I like perfect. So yeah, go ahead. I like perfect. Give us the vote of thanks as one of the session. So as perfect is giving the vote of thanks, you can as well just put your social media platform so that people can engage with you. So perfect, are you able to speak? Perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Victor. Can you hear me well? Hello, Victor. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you so much to our speakers. I really learned a lot today, and I'm very sure that every single person that is on this call did learn a lot. One thing I just want to re-emphasize is that Game Face 2025 is not just planning your year, it's more or less planning your life. Because a lot of the things that we've learned, a lot of the things that we will continue to learn, even as further series from He Conference and She Conference come out, is that people learn to plan their life, and a change of mindset. I saw a quote somewhere: change how you think, change your life. So the key to that big break, quote and unquote, is just a mindset change most of the time. And I really want to appreciate all our speakers for coming and dishing out great value to us. And I'm very sure that we are better for it. Thank you also to the attendees, everyone that came, listened, everyone that posted it on their socials. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making this a success. We really can't thank you enough. The best way that we can show our gratitude is by implementing all these things into our lives and making sure that at the end of the day, we are for the better. And I know that definitely as we do so, we are definitely going to start seeing great results in our lives. Then there's also one thing I want to say for every one of us. If we are yet to follow He Conference, She Conference on social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, please just give us a follow, give us a like, and be kept abreast with everything that we do. And then also the recording from this event is going to be domiciled somewhere so that everyone who needs access to it can just go up and check it out. I'm very sure that in the course of the week or next week, that announcement is going to be made. So please, if you want to be notified, just make sure you're following us on our socials. When there's a post that comes through, we would be able to get ahead of that information. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm grateful. And of course, I know that Dr. Ayorinda Adebilo, who is the convener of e-conference and she-conference, is most grateful to every one of you. Thank you so much for making it a date with us. I think that's all I want to say. Passing the mic back to Mr. Victor Akiwande. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone. So we are coming to the end of the session. I look forward to our other programs that we always put them in our social media platform. Thank you so much for everyone. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you to all our programs. I will put everything, you find everything on all our social media platforms. Have an amazing 2020. As we know that everything is here in place. So bye. Bye everyone.
That's all. Oh, what